Okay, doubt we getting too many people here today, which is fine. Don't normally stream throughout the day, but my normal plans kind of went up in smoke. So that's all good. I'll wait for give it a few minutes, then we'll get started. So a while back, this was sent to me. Sorry, hang on. Have some messages being sent my way. All right, yep. So this is a battle royale. Organizations B2B.
Birthday.
The hell?
That's right. For your birthday, I got you my free day off. You're welcome.
Oh yeah, totally, totally. How generous of you. How noble, even. Well, I
I
thought it'd
am
be
the noblest.
uh-huh. I thought it'd be fun to go through this blog Cyber sent us a while back because I never got around to it, but it's the organizations blog, I believe. So it's the
I assume
Akatsuki, the Warlords. Thank you, Jeremy. Retro. There'll be a third one tonight. I like to do multiple things for my birthday, and I didn't end up doing my original birthday plans due to issues.
would you like to do me a solid?
What's the solid you want?
Share your screen.
All right, hang on, I'll get on it. Hang on. All right, so let me get right on that. All right, so I am not familiar with a lot of the Akatsuki. So this will be interesting. Although I have been of the opinion that the Warlords would beat the Akatsuki in a fight. So let's see what G1 blog has to say. They calc Naruto's planet. We'll find out right now. So let's get into it. Yeah, size of Naruto planet. There are a few calculations that we have linked below that have the size of Naruto's planet much larger than Earth. Is that is that a meta we go with nowadays? I was kind of under the impression people didn't like those arguments where you argue like the planet's bigger because that leads to like gravity and then a bunch of other shenanigans.
Well, no, a lot of people don't understand that leads to bigger gravity, which means you have to shift perspective on things like the speed of sound when you put them under normal conditions, speed of light, things like that. It's just little things like that where it gets really annoying. But the way I personally take things is unless we have a statement or something confirming that the planet is bigger than ours, I would just assume that it's the size of our planet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I argue it for Toriko because Toriko like literally tells you it's X times bigger than our planet.
Yeah, that's why like I'm a little surprised we're getting calcs for Naruto about planet size.
Yeah, I wouldn't do calcs like that because that can vary like depending on perspective and panel sizes, and that gets into like the inconsistency of like you know pixel scaling.
All right. Let me just open up the live stream chat over here and then we'll get started.
Because let's be really clear here. If they're going to do this for Naruto, they have to do it for One Piece too, and that
I'm
gets
ass-
into a bit pain in the ass.
I'm assuming One Piece will also be receiving a similar discussion. So, to explain the calculation method, there's a giant crater left by the Biju clash during the war arc, which can be measured to be around 2 dozen kilometers.
Can I just tell you right now, like in 2026, can we stop calling them the Biju? Just call them the tailed base. Enough with this calling them by the Japanese name. It's the tailed base.
God forbid we call them by their actual translated name or untranslated name.
No, because if this is how it's going to be, then they better also use the Japanese names for the techniques and the Japanese names for like the devil fruits. You know what I mean?
Yeah. To explain the calculation method, there's a giant crater left by the clash during the war arc, which can be measured to 2 dozen kilometers by comparing it to the Eight Tails. A giant creature consistently around 100 meters tall, around hundreds of meters tall. Okay. For measuring the crater and miscellaneous other scaling figures like the island and the Juby crater, one can find the size of the God Tree's roots, reaching nearly 158 kilometers in width. And through this route, we can determine the size of the Frost Country, where the God Tree is located, to be 7.3 thousand kilometers at its thinnest, and use that to compare it to the full size of the planet. Kyle doesn't like Denki Dama.
Oh, fuck you, tell Beast Bomb.
In addition to the size of the planet, there's a map of the world's various countries shown during the war arc, in which the Turtle Island is visible in its significant size in comparison to the Frost Country. Measuring said island size off this map would result in a ridiculous large size of nearly 4,000 kilometers.
While you're there, while you're there, you can shove Chubaku Tensei up your ass. It's planetary devastation.
I'm not sure if you should take maps as accurate, because maps in the real world aren't even accurate half the time. But all right, that's fine.
So the problem, so the thing with maps, the only time you should ever take a map into consideration is if a map has a key to show you, like, so you know how most like some maps will give you like an estimation key between these 2 points is how long it is.
Yes.
You don't. You can just say no. You can just say I'm not explaining it right. But so if a map doesn't have a key saying that these 2 points are X number of distance,
yes,
then I'd be very skeptical to use the actual map itself because you can't determine anything off a blank map. You need keys and stuff to be able to like get around it because it's kind of like looking at a map and being like, oh well, this mountain is like a tiny peak on this map, but it's like, yeah, but that's not the actual representation of how big this would be on the actual like planet. It's just here on the map. Because you know how some maps will have like mountains and they're just like tiny little like triangles.
Yeah. No, and that's correct because that's also assuming maps are drawn to scope, but they're not.
Yeah, well, that's assuming that they're drawn to scale, which most maps, even in real world, aren't. Which is why they have to use keys to demonstrate.
Yeah.
Like I don't like I throw shade at these people all the time, but it's like this is kind of stuff you learn in primary or elementary school when they try and teach you distance.
It's kind of an issue when it comes to a lot
it's
of
rudimentary. It's rudimentary mathematics.
Yes. Now they have a point of reference they're working off of, but again, that's just maps are not usually drawn to scale, is what I'm getting at. Naturally, these are pretty large sizes for relatively small countries and landmarks in the Naruto world, which ends up affecting the impressiveness of plenty of feats. Tailed Beast Bombs end up reaching multi-continental power. Tsunade destroying a country actually has energy comparable to blowing up a continent. Kurama's
I'm sorry, what?
Tsunade destroying a country actually has energy comparable to blowing up a continent.
No. I heard you. I'm just like, fucking, when did she do that?
Kurama's tailed beast bombs can reach up to planet level, etc. However, only the first one comfortably scales to the Akatsuki. The most important feats that would apply involve the Akatsuki themselves, largely involve Turtle Island. First off, Datara's direct feat of flipping the Turtle Island with a C1 bomb. Given the exclamation speech bubble, it indicates to us that the observing characters, like the animals, the characters on the island, even the living Turtle Island itself, are reacting in the time the feat takes to complete. In that span, wait, why don't you just call it the anime for the time frame? Or does the anime like delay the feat by like Turtle Island flips by approximately 45 degrees with
so in the manga, because I think I remember this when I was making Naruto manga accurate, in the panels, it flips over straight away. In the anime, it's kind of like it doesn't tip straight away. It likes to like jump between like all the characters' perspectives as it's like starting to fall. You know what I mean?
I understand that, but like we don't know how long time passes between manga panels. Like, I mean, we would assume it's quick, depending on the circumstances. But like a good example being like if a character's walking down the street to his house and we cut to multiple manga panels of them taking turns and stuff, we don't know what the time frame is between that. So unless the anime can verifiably confirm that it pads the fuck out of that scene, you would use the
Oh, it
anime as
does.
a time
That
frame.
it does because that entire season is nothing but ginormous padding, and they have nothing but like numerous amounts of filler shoved in between because it's jumping between the filler arc as well, where Naruto is like trying to interact with all the animals and like the talking ostrich.
Okay, but how fast is the feed? How fast is the feed in the anime? Like off top of your head, how long would you say it is?
Oh, it's been a fat minute since I've been. I'd say maybe 2, 3 minutes, maybe. I could be wrong
Okay,
because I
fuck no,
think some
that's
characters.
fuck no,
I think some.
that's a
Well,
perfectly fine time frame. I thought you were gonna tell me it was like 15 minutes of characters reacting. What the fuck?
well, it could be. The problem is that like I don't remember because I edited Naruto like 5 years ago.
All right, fair enough. Let us continue then. All right. For flipping it, reacting time in that span, Turtle Island flips 45 degrees, with the island's Australia level mass being flipped at sub-relativistic speeds. So sub-relativistic flip, huh? Okay. The feed comes down to 7 Yata tons of TNT for just one C1 bomb. What's noteworthy is that C1 is considered Data's weakest bomb, making all of his stronger explosions and
C1, hang
superior.
on, hang on. Google data is C1 bomb. That's not the tiny birds, is it?
Um,
The images?
hang on. C1 Narutopedia. Yeah, it's the bird.
That's not his weakest bomb because it transforms into a giant bird. His weakest bombs are like the little spiders or the little like the little creatures he makes.
All right. We already made the same clay. How massive is One Piece World? For some reason your messages aren't popping up here. That's weird. Let me. Why did Obito not pull Minato into the Genjutsu in their first fight? Kyle go.
Fucking plot.
The other feat related to is Mike Guy's Daytime Tiger, which pushed up a large amount of water surrounding the island, same as Datara. The exclamations and what speech bubbles occur
Wait.
right after.
So they're fine with using Daytime Tiger, but not Hiradora.
Right
Are you
after
shitting me?
Hiradora and water are launched, is what it says.
So they're fine with calling it a Gekidama, and they're fine with calling it by the Japanese name, but they're not fine with calling my guy's Morning Tiger the Hiradora. Are you shitting me?
No, it says Daytime Tiger and then after the Hiadora. So they're just interchangeably using the names.
Pick one.
Shockwave, given the size of the blast, thickness of water, and speed it raised, the feat can
Even
range
the
from
dub calls the Hiradora.
to 140 odd tons of TNT. Kisame was able to survive the attack point blank, and while he was defeated, his body was still intact. Wait, did he survive or did he die?
No, he survived.
Okay. To attack enough for him to be conscious, even attempt to counter, forcing Guy to attack him once more to put him down. So, alright.
Kisame commits suicide to kill himself.
Is there a reason?
Yeah, because he was captured and he didn't want the intelligence unit, like, because they have people like from the Yamanaka and stuff like that can like delve into his mind without his permission. So he's just like, for some reason, I'm just gonna send this scroll off, and then I'm just gonna like kill myself because for some reason super loyal to the Akatsuki for reasons.
I mean, to be fair, I would assume that like there was bound to be a couple of them that were like hardcore loyalists.
There were when the original Akatsuki, because they were actually trying to free the Rain Village, but when they became a mercenary team, it's just like they're bound together by necessity.
Hang on, drinking water.
Like, how do I put it? They're not a mercenary group that are joined together by like friendship and stuff like that. They're all joined together because of like they're rogue ninja. They need protection and they also need money. Like most of the teams despise being with each other.
Sounds about right. What blog is this? This is the Akatsuki versus Warlords versus Espada. Huh? These are certainly higher end calculations that are debatable. Turtle Island being that big, while Blaine on the map isn't 100% ironclad, is never portrayed as large as that anywhere other than on said map. If you were to measure its size through any other method, you would get results much lower. It's likely drawn just for visualization instead of being a complete one-to-one comparison. And
Okay,
Kishimoto
so if they acknowledge that, then this calc is invalid.
Hold on. And Kishimoto certainly didn't intend for it to be that big whenever he focused on it. With that in mind, when discussing these high-end calculations, it is important only to do so in the context of comparing them to other similar arguments on the opposing side. What we mean by this is if you are debating a Naruto character against an opponent who also has feats that are reliant on areas of inconsistent size, like Onigashima in the case of One Piece, and the Wanderreich or Sarate in the case of Bleach, these high-end map calculations will be equally valid or invalid as high-end map calculations on the opposing sides.
I don't necessarily agree with that.
Yeah, I don't agree with that because that wouldn't because unless you can prove they're at the same level, gonna be here till 5 at that rate.
So the biggest problem that I have straight away is that like if you already acknowledge that, then you've already gotten the math wrong for the size of the island. Because I can tell you this right now, the island, like the Turtle Island, is just supposed to be the size of an island, like full stop. It's got mountains and shit, but that's about it. You just have it at island level.
Yeah, guys, it's a long blog, but we'll try and skip some of the fluff to get through it a little faster. The Kakashi Red Sun novel states that an average shinobi would take 30 days to travel the country to the Hidden Leaf Village. We also know from Gara Hida novel that shinobi are faster than horses and more tenacious than camels, capable of traveling 1,000 miles without a single break, and can even run faster than blimps or trains. Blimps in Naruto stated 70 kilometers per hour.
Oh, that's so impressive. Oh, that's so impressive.
Okay, so basically we're doing kilometer scaling here. Okay. 5,000 kilometers in two countries that aren't that far apart relative on the map. This would work as additional support for Naruto plan B much bigger than our own.
Okay, so if they're going to do kilometers like that, why do they write the full thing out and not just do like, go back up for a sec because I can read it to you properly.
Okay.
So instead of saying, so instead of saying like 33,600 kilometers, you would just put 33.6 kilometers.
Really?
Or on the no, not 33.6. It would be something like just like
336,000 kilometers or 300. Well, it's 33,000 kilometers, so it's 33.6 thousand kilometers.
Yeah, there's a way to shorten this where you don't have to like keep adding like the massive decimal point.
Isn't One Piece massively weaker than the other two? So here's the thing.
So One Piece scaling's fucked. So that's going to depend on what you want to buy.
There is a point when Naruto power clips One Piece, but it's not till like the end of the series. And that's if you want to buy the higher end scaling at the end of the series, because some people are still contentious as to whether or not you can at that point. Boruto for sure would be way stronger from what I understand at this point.
But you also have the other side where people, for some reason, are still contentious whether or not One Piece is light speed. They are. It's not a discussion.
Okay, hang on. Some comments here. Gonna be here till 5 at this rate. If you get Kage to 4D, yes. Yes, Espada should usually take this. As far as I know, for the blog's winner, the Espada do take it, but I'm kind of curious what the reasons are for second and third. This was always a bad matchup because Bleach just has higher end arguments that are a lot easier to accept, unless you're Death Battle in the most recent Death Battle. While the Warlords scaled to nearly all of the feats in One Piece, and the strongest Espada like Grimmjow should at least downscale most of the feats in Bleach by the time of the War Arc and Can't Fear Your Own World,
So
interesting.
the problem is that if you're using the Espada and you're using them as a team, you wouldn't use the current version of Green Jow and like Harley Bell
What is Frog
and
Kata?
Neliel. You wouldn't use those current versions. You wouldn't be using the Thousand Year Blood War versions of them. You'd be using the version
Karakuri
of them.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kyle's correct on that one. What the hell is Frog Kata?
Frog Kumite. So you know how Naruto can bypass the durability in Sage mode using Sage mode.
Yes.
So how he can hit you without hitting you.
Yes.
It's that.
Ah, okay. Possibly. I don't know if it'd work on Logias, but it'd probably work against like Paramecias. Let me see here.
I wouldn't say that it would work on Logias. There's no evidence that it can hit intangible beings.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't think it'd work on the Logia, but it'd probably work on like Luffy, for example. Like if you punch
Oh
Luffy, it'd
yeah, it
still
would.
hurt him.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It would work on Paramecias and Zoans.
Yes. Well, some Zoans, because some other Zoans are weird.
Fucking Marco.
Okay,
You could,
the Akatsuki.
you could just say Marco.
Well, because he's a mythical Zoan type. Okay, the Akatsuki are notably different in that none of them scale to the strongest characters in Naruto. Well,
So
well,
so funny. So before you go over that thing, and it's just like Marco and X Drake are both mythical zones, but one is definitely way better than the other to get. You know what I mean?
We are categorized by the ability, but these abilities are not on the same wavelength.
X Drake goes up to Marco. I too am mythicals that would, yeah, but we're not the same.
Freaking
I can technically shrug off like swords and gunfire. If I was to stab and shoot you, you're fucked, dinosaur boy.
Well, top two Naruto feats will be listed in the calculus below. A lot of them don't apply to the Akatsuki, so it's important to define where we're capping them. Damn, you're really gonna say the Akatsuki don't scale when Itachi's right there? Didn't you know Itachi beats Madara?
Didn't you know he's still relevant in Boruto to this day?
Don't you know that Naruto's like ultimate KCM form only barely got to Itachi's level?
Don't you know if he was on the battlefield, there wouldn't even have been a fight with Kaguya?
Man, like I mean, like listen, I understand we gotta make it fair, but this Itachi downplay is actually insane. It's an X-Drake a raptor. Yeah, he's a T-Rex versus a mythical phoenix. I think Frog Kata can hurt Luffy because it works same as Fishman Karate, right? Fishman Karate technically can't hurt Luffy unless it has water. I don't think that's how it works. Darien Shippuden, the strongest member of the Akatsuki was Obito. Ooh, hold on. Oh, that's spicy. Damn,
Hold on a second. What's spicy?
They're saying that during the time of Shippuden, Obito was the strongest member of the Akatsuki. Ooh, I didn't realize G1 Vlog was known for making bold statements.
So they are right, but they are also wrong. It kind of heavily depends on how you want to take Obito's statements, whether or not he felt safe attacking the village by himself while Itachi was there. It gets into that like discussion. But on screen, he would be the strongest.
I can just feel the Itachi fans when they read this just being like, no, no. That's crazy. Who after implanting his Rinnegan was able to contend to an extent against KCM2 Naruto. Basically.
Okay, so which version of Obito are we using?
Yeah,
this is going to get into a fun discussion. Are we using War Arc Obito, or are we using like before the War Arc?
Because I was under the impression when Obito gets the Rinnegan, he's no longer part of the Akatsuki at that point.
Well, he's technically, it's only him and Zetsu the only surviving members by that point. Well,
Well, if I-
him, him, Zetsu and Kisame. But the reason why you need to be specific of what key you're using for Obito, because this can easily slip into going from like, well, we're going to give him the Rinnegan. Well, you can also slip into giving him the fucking Ten Tails too, by this logic.
It looks like they are giving him the 10 tails a little further down. So
Well,
we'll see.
I would not give him that if you're having him part of the Akatsuki fight. It just harkens back to like what I said about like Green Gel and all that, and it's the same thing that applies here. Like Zim understands what I mean, where it's like I'm very hesitant to give him that if you're going to be putting him in like a team fight.
Because by the time Obito gets the 10
It's a
tails,
different
he's
key.
not a member of the Akatsuki anymore. Unless you just argue he never renounced it, so he's technically still a member.
I mean, he never renounced it, and he's technically like him and Zetsu, by the point of the Ten Tails, are the only surviving members of the Akatsuki. But by that point, you're kind of just like, this would be better if you separated it into keys. I think the way you would do this is that you would use Obito before he gets the Rinnegan and before the War Arc.
Oh man, that's fair. White Mask Obito is also
after he gets the Rinnegan, that's a completely different key as well.
because that's no longer really the Akatsuki either. Because by that point, the Akatsuki has effectively disbanded. I want to say. I know it's not entirely correct.
How do you want to take that? Most of them are basically dead, and there's only 3 of them left.
Well, because if I remember correctly, Obito goes to get the Rinnegan, and he kills another member of the Akatsuki, or I guess more accurately, she blows herself
He kills
up.
Konan, who was hiding Nagato's body.
Well, I mean, she blows herself up, so would you really count that as like him killing her? Because doesn't she like die?
No, he kills her. She doesn't blow herself up.
Oh, I thought she blew herself up.
No. What she tries to do is because she knew that Obito was coming after her, so she basically like somehow layered the sea around the Rain Village.
I've seen the fight because I've seen the fight because a lot of people
exploded for 5 minutes, and after the explosions are over, Obito's just like, "I'm not dead. Fuck you, and I'm gonna do what Yahiko couldn't, and I'm going to penetrate you."
Kyle, why? No, because I remember a lot of people complained about the fact that she wasn't able to kill Obito because a lot of people wanted like a female character to be an antagonist. To be fair, it would have worked on most of them.
By the end of like the 6 parts of Pain and Soul arc, she's not an enemy to Naruto anymore.
Well, yeah, but like that's why they kind of wanted like because I guess women don't really succeed all that well in Naruto when it comes to fights. I've never read it like directly, but from what I understand, it's one of those series where people complain about how the women are treated. But let us continue. So
I mean, they're treated fine. It's just that you don't see many of them fight.
White Mask Obito is portrayed on par with Ito Madara, who was notably not as strong as a live Madara. At best, to potentially put him at the level of Hostless Kurama.
Okay, so this is going to get into, they might mention it later, but if this is the kind of scaling that we're going to go around, then the revived versions of the Jinchuriki can also keep up with Killer Bee and like KCM Naruto.
She kills Obito, he comes back to Izanagi. They give the Espadas Hogyoku Resurrection. Did Obito have to use Izanagi to rewrite his death by Conan's bombs?
Yeah, he basically shifted the timeline so that he would be.
Why would he
because
she
had a
yeah,
because she had a like he could only phase through all of the bombs. Because she's like, I know you can't do it for longer than 5 minutes, so I've set these explosions that go longer than 5 minutes.
How would she even be able? Questions for later. We got a blog to get through.
It's not questions for later because you never get answers to that. She just knows.
Wait, so it's never because when did Obito reveal the time limit to his ability?
Never.
Also, can't he just go into the dimension he fights Kakashi in and just wait out the bombs?
No.
Okay.
So,
Hello, Newman.
because the way it works from memory,
Kobe.
Kakashi has the Kamui that can suck people in. Oh no, actually, I think he can.
Okay, chat. Can Obito just
No,
fucking dip?
no, he can because Obito has the one where he can suck himself into the dimension. Kakashi has the one where he can suck others into the dimension.
Yeah, so why didn't Obito just dip back into his dimension, wait the 5 minutes, and then pop back
Easy.
out?
Easy, because by that point in the story, it was still intangible. It was still an intangibility technique, not a transportation technique. This is one of those things where it's like it's a power that got retconned later on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So initially, it was supposed to be intangibility, but then they rewrote it to being like, oh, he's just. It's a time space technique where he's going into a dimension.
So it sounds like in canon, had we had the complete information, Obito would have no diff this attack.
I think if Kishimoto knew what he wanted the technique to be on paper before he did the fight, I think the fight would have been different.
Would have been a lot shorter. Okay.
Yeah.
Obito absorbs 10 tails, gets a power boost, fights Sasuke and Naruto, defeated, then Madara absorbs 10 tails, even stronger, then the power escalates, and then Naruto and Sasuke 6 pats, arrival of Kaguya. All of which is to say that since the 10 tails resurrected here, a normal Obito stops scaling to anything from the point.
They're skipping over a power up of Madara where he absorbs the tree.
Well, I think the point they're getting at, also no high birthday Newman, how dare you. Also, I think the point they're getting at is Obito stops scaling after the 10 tails.
He would stop scale. Yeah, he wouldn't scale to like the Stage 6 Pass versions of the characters. No.
Orochimaru scales a little higher since he's still around in Boruto, but the most you could give him is a
Orochimaru
bunch.
doesn't do anything in Boruto. You can't scale him anywhere.
Hold on. But the most you could give him is a bunch of nameless shinobi charging a chakra cannon that cause massive explosions in space. The only notable character he fights in Boruto, Victor, is a Kara inner and thus should be hypothetically be pretty strong. He doesn't fight anyone notable other than Orochimaru and Haramu?
Are you seriously telling me you can't pronounce Konohamaru?
Oh, Konohamaru, thank you. So there are no great scaling chains that can be found through him. Again, this feels so fucking bullshit that like we're scaling in the Boruto. Orochimaru's son has some good feats and statements with Sage Mode.
Right I'm gonna be very clear right now. Obito and Boruto shouldn't be in the same sentence unless it's going to be like hypothetical comeback. Other than that, these words should never interact with each other.
So
Even if you were to say to me, "Oh, Obito and Tonari," I would look at you with the meanest stink eye and be like, "Those words don't go together either. Get back down there. Go back down your."
I'm going to combine them right now. You want to know how I'm going to combine them? I'm going to point out that Jiraiya fought one of the Akatsuki. Or not the Akatsuki. Oh, that's a triple. Hang on.
Go on, Cook. So I know where you're going with this.
No. It wasn't. No, Triple didn't say anything. He sent me a message in DMs. I just gotta read it.
No, you.
What? Where was I? Well, see, Jiraiya was able to fight a member of fucking Kaguya's clan, and Jiraiya got beat by Pain, so technically
No,
it's
he
just upscale.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. The person in Boruto looks like Jiraiya, but it's not Jiraiya.
Triple says hello, everybody. Thank you, Triple, for the happy birthday as well. All right, let me appreciate it. All right. Fuck me. This is the end of the blog, too. Jesus. Hidan would technically still be alive in Boruto since he's immortal. Does he scale the
I'm sure one of the novels confirms that he's immortal in the sense that he can't be conventionally killed, but I'm pretty sure he can starve to death.
Would that not be considered a conventional way of dying?
By conventional, more like you can't stab him, light him on fire, shoot him, stuff of that nature.
Alright, let us continue onwards. Alright, so let's see if we can't get to the feats that they're not scaling to. The Ten Tails can create content spanning natural disasters and planet level explosions, as well as serve as the gravity core that created the literal moon. They can both manipulate the guide. Okay, so these are not being scaled to the Akatsuki. Characters on par with
And why not?
Kaguya.
This seems like fluff. If it's not going back to the Akatsuki, then there's no reason to talk about them.
Keep in mind that all of these feats pertain to a much larger planet than ours and would thus accordingly be well beyond baseline planetary. There are also a handful of feats you could argue if you wanted to make the case that top tier Naruto characters are cosmic in scale. Kaguya's truth-seeking orb, with her dimension at minimum containing a star and potentially being a full space-time, depending on how you take a few statements from
Whoa,
Naruto and others.
whoa! I see Road to Ninja in here. Get that the fuck out of here.
Less famously, Kaguya has actually been able to move her multiple dimensions around using an ability called transporting the dimensions to her instead of herself to them. Lastly, in Road to Ninja movie, the Gedu Maz... I'm not going to pronounce that. The Husk of the Ten Tails is used to create an alternate reality that at minimum contains a moon, planet, sun, and numerous stars.
Yeah, I'm gonna kill this straight away. No, do not ever fucking use that, because this was so. What this is was the premise of the movie is Obito was trying out a smaller version of the Infinite Tsukuyomi. And so what happens is he transports Naruto and Sakura to an alternate timeline. Here's the problem. This would have been fine if when we saw the Infinite Tsukuyomi, it did the exact same fucking thing. It doesn't. This came out before the official showing. So this gets retconned, and this is not usable. You cannot use this.
Why are we talking about Kaguya? None of the Akatsuki would scale to her. Is that the Menma movie? Yes, I think so. Zero idea. So the reason Kaguya is here is because they want to fluff out that they acknowledge Naruto has higher end scaling, just that the Akatsuki don't scale to it.
Which again,
Okay.
you could just say that in a sentence. You don't need to over elaborate about the higher tier scalings.
All right, Espada, Reishi Crush. What? Okay, so or Ryatsu Crush. I don't know how you pronounce it.
Yeah, Ryatsu Crush. It's basically just like if I'm stronger than you, I can basically like crush your spirit in your will, so you can't move, or you can just like disintegrate.
The answer is well, yesn't. What? For starters, we're clarifying that this isn't fatal. Aizen was famously able to kill people by walking past them, but they were just normal people with no special powers at all. He wasn't able to just kill literally everyone he came across. No, Yokiora did imply Yami could eventually crush Tatsuki's soul. She was able to survive in his presence for a decent period beforehand.
That's not true. Ukiora says like to let up because you'll break her.
And she's notably a mostly regular human as well, with only minor spiritual power, enough to just see hollows and nothing more. In most other cases, the attack is more psychological. For example, Ichigo feeling as though Kenpachi had his sword pressed against his throat, or Grimmjow being so overwhelmed by Aizen that he fell to his knees. In the majority of situations, provided an opponent is a complete fodder relative to the attacker, this is going to be the extent of the damage, and it's not just going to instantly kill an opponent who's actually strong. But if it crushes the soul, if you have no spiritual power, can it hacks you? I'm going to say something controversial, and I'm going to get shit for this, but even if you can destroy the soul, if the series you're fighting doesn't care about souls, I don't think it matters.
I'm going to go even further. I'm going to say if you don't have any soul resistance, I'm going to say it's still not going to kill you because it's going to scale based on how strong you are in comparison to the person who's doing it.
True. His second release, a 100 amp for Ilkiora. Fuck, it's like I pronounced it fine earlier. She had mild resistance.
It's a Spanish name too.
Ukiora?
Yes.
I don't believe it. Not a bad question, but it's worth knowing that after Ichigo trained in the Dangai, Aizen believed that Ichigo had forsaken all of his spiritual power for pure physical power, hypothesizing that Ichigo had managed to become strong enough to challenge him that way. Now, Aizen was wrong, to be clear. This was an incorrect guess on his part, but the important part is that Aizen believed that Ichigo could reasonably resist his Reiatsu by just being physically strong enough, meaning that gaining any kind of advantage via Reiatsu is contingent on the attacker being stronger than the target. That's fair. So, in short,
I'll never get over how Aizen was robbed of his fucking victory.
so it's not just instant win. Target is strong or stronger than the user won't be effective at all. Notably as well, both the Warlords and the Akatsuki have a degree of soul resistance. Oh, interesting.
I want to see them cook because I'm gonna. Because the only instance that I'm aware of when it comes to souls in Naruto is the human path. When it comes to the Rinnegan being able to manipulate souls, but they have to physically touch them, and none of the Akatsuki's ever had theirs physically touched, unless they're going to go the route because chakra is mental, physical, and spiritual energy mixed into one.
Okay. Ceros and Balas, the speed. Okay.
Easy. Speed of light, and then the Balas are 20 times faster. So Balas are weaker, but they're 20 times the speed of light.
Yes. If we were to assume ordinary Cero is real light,
Fuck
he can
off, it
fire
is.
1,000 Ceros consecutively at such a rapid speed they all appear to fire simultaneously. I'm gonna give a hot take here. When it comes to Stark, he's pulling the trigger on a gun. So how fast he pulls the trigger isn't really relevant to the speed of the Cero, at least in my opinion.
He pulls the trigger once, and it fires like hundreds of thousands of times. Like, it could just be like a machine gun where he just holds it down.
Okay, I'm fine with Cero scaling to light. I'm not really gonna.
So
I'm not
this
gonna get
is
into
this is where
this.
Ceros are going to be a pain in the ass because the further you get in the Bleach, the faster that they would be, and they can still be hit and dodge Ceros. So the Ceros don't just stay at light speed, especially with the Espada. They would technically be disgustingly faster.
Candice, lightning arrows are said to be slower than real lightning. That's that seems stupid. Wait, wait. How are her attacks slower than real lightning if she's like, cause she'd be stronger than the Espada, wouldn't she? Wouldn't all of the Stern Ritters be stronger than the Espada?
Should be, or at least a lot of the weaker Espada.
I mean that wouldn't matter though, because most Espada can use a Cero and a Bolus, right? Like that's not unique to the top 10.
No. If you're a part of the Espada, like a Cero is just a basic like hollow technique, especially when you get up to like Menace Grandes. Like they can use them all the time.
This feels out of
Ballas
context.
Ballas should be used by everyone because Yami can use a Bala when he's a Spartan number 10. Even though he's number 0 as well, he's also number 10, the weakest when he's not awakened.
From what I understand, Can't Fear Your Own World does have an anti-feat about lightning. I don't know if this is the anti-feat.
It really wouldn't matter because you can either like argue consistency, which still gets them like MFTL like disgustingly.
Yeah, but the point I'm getting at is that like regardless of what you believe the Stern Ritters scale to, even the Bambity should be stronger than most of the Espada during the Katakuri
So
town arc.
you know Bambietta is just one character. The other girls are not like a squadron. It's not the Bambiettas.
They're called the Bambities, aren't they though? Like aren't they a group?
No. They're just a bunch of girl Stern Ritters together.
Oh, that's weird because
And
the
they're not
card
even
game
friends
has
with
them
each
as a
other
group.
either. They're not even like friends with each other either. They're so fucking cutthroat with each other.
Well, that's just women in general. Oh, hold on now. My bad. My inner red dust came out there for a second.
Red Dust, get out of Zim.
But no. Like I was under the impression they were their own group because they're like in all the marketing together and in the game, in the card game,
You want to know?
they're like this own group.
You want to know why they're marketed together? You want to know why they're marketed together? Because they're fucking women, and like most of them are hot. Not all of them, because one of them's a fucking child. I'm pretty sure one of them's a dude too, but that's going to be up in the air.
Yes, I think one of them is a dude. But all right. If it's slower, then it's probably a charge move. All menace and above can do Saros. That's what I figured. Okay, so this is just gonna go into FTL being consistent for Bleach. I'm just gonna say it's fine. I'm not. This is fine. We can just move on. Bleach realm sizes and related calcs.
Ooh, okay.
All right. First off, we're just gonna skip. We're gonna skip the setup because we all know what the realms are more or less. We're gonna save a little time here. First off, the bare minimum of these the bare minimum for these realms should be planetary in size. That much is clear with Earth, Juego Mundo, and the Soul Society being portrayed as relative in size. Memories of Nobody.
They are relative in size, but when they refer to Earth, they also refer to Earth as a universe, and they do it for all of the others too. So while they are three sides of the same coin, they would all be universal in size.
Probably for the best. Mangler's busy right now. Lord knows he'd have field days with this. Which is canon. Even portrays the planets to be equal.
Memories of Nobody. If you're using Memories of Nobody and the Valley of Screams, that shows off way better as well. That all of the in between realms in the Garganta are literally just fucking universes too.
There are arguments
now
to make
whether or not
bigger than our own.
Now, whether or not they're separated by time or just space is going to be very much how you want to interpret it. Because you can make the argument that, like, time isn't different between them.
So, apparently, the planet allegedly would be 1.8 million kilometers of the Soul Society. That said, that's the size of the main planets within the realms, not the size of the realms as a whole, which should be much bigger. In the 1,000-Year Blood War anime, we're given a graph and an expansive shot of the human world, Soul Society, and Dongai. That I was kind of expecting something better, I'm not gonna lie. Was surrounded by dozens of Valley of Screams, alternatively known as Kogyoku. I'm not gonna pronounce that. What am I doing? These are small pocket dimensions created by blanks introduced to Memories of Nobody and are confirmed to be big enough to contain not just a planet, but
hang on, I just thought you were trying to pronounce. You mean Kogyoku?
Kogyoku, yes. See, that's what I thought it would pronounce like, but I didn't want to say it, and then you give me shit for it.
No, you're lucky I let the fucking Kagura's technique slide, and I only let it slide because I don't know how to pronounce it either.
Fuck you. By comparing the size of the realms to the Kogyokus on screen, the full size of the realms will be within dozens of astronomical units, well within cosmic in size. The Dongai connecting them is a bit larger, and the full Garganta containing both these realms and dozens of Kogyokus would be much bigger. There's some contention on if the realms could be universe sized, and while certainly possible, it's a bit unclear at the moment. We know the three realms were born from the primordial sea being split into three, but how exactly big that sea was is never made explicit. Likewise, while Senjumaru is said to shake the three realms of existence, it's not exactly full definitive proof of the realms composing a universe.
I'm going to tell you why you can kill this argument straight away. If you're going to make that argument, then you make the argument that Bleach's human world isn't a universe, it's just the planet, and that's it. You can't go into outer space, or there shouldn't be, like, celestial bodies. No, that's fucking ridiculous.
Okay. That said, should they each be solar system sized or so, they'd still comprise all of existence.
Okay, I'm sick of this fucking discussion of people being like, "Oh well, if we only see a star, we can only give it solar system." Hey, you can say I'm way more generous than most people, but hey, if I see a star or multiple stars within a dimension, fuck you. I'm going to assume it's a universe. I have no reason to believe that it just stops there.
I disagree with that position personally, but that's fine. Should be 1,000-Year of Existence. That said, 1,000-Year Blood War anime is soon to be over, and perhaps more information will be given to support higher interpretations. Until then, something more in range of planets of solar system size is easier to prove. In short, the planets of the three realms should be as big as Earth, with potential room to argue significantly larger. The full scope of the realms should be a much bigger than the distance between the Earth and the Sun by dozens of times. While the realms could be universe-sized, either individually or as a whole, there's not enough concrete information to make that definitive yet. So is the position here that Bleach's human world only like a galaxy then?
I don't know, because this is why I brought this up. Like, by their logic, you'd only ever, because if this is the position you're going to take for the other realms, you can only take the position that Bleach's universe is only like either just the planet or it's just the solar system, which is fucking ridiculous.
Doesn't Grammy create a galaxy or something? I don't think Grammy scales.
He does in a small pocket dimension.
Yeah, but
unless they're going to bring Grimmjow, Harley Bell, and Neliel from the fucking 1,000-year Blood War, they shouldn't even like lick that.
They probably will. Perhaps the most clear-cut example of three, the One Piece planet is widely known in verses as being significantly larger than our own. Yeah, that's fine. While absurdly large is also supported in universe, with the model of the planet showing several surrounding celestial bodies and moons surrounding it, even just measuring the size of a normal moon relative to it would get sizes much bigger than Earth.
So the problem with using moon scaling is all a moon is just a celestial object that's far enough away that it's not being dragged into the orbit, but far enough away where it's not being pushed away. So it's just something that floats around the orbit like our moon. We could have another moon on the other side of the planet. Nothing fucking stops that.
Well, that is
it would not affect the other moon.
That is true. Actually, I think we're gaining another moon soon. Actually, but that is true. But in the case of in the case here, you'd go from the planet size versus the bodies.
But the problem is that they're doing the same thing again, because now I know why they did that thing for Naruto. They did that because they're trying to get fucking this scaling for One Piece and trying to justify themselves, even though they have no scale.
No, One Piece is a little different because it's a planetarium you're going off of. It's not a map. It's a planetarium. Planetariums are meant to be more accurate in size, so you can get a visual understanding.
Yes, but the problem is that you still need a key next to it to know how big it is, precisely.
Well, so
you can say it's bigger. That's fine, but you still lack visual information.
They're going off of an Alabasta calculation. So apparently, there is a river in Alabasta that's 50 kilometers wide. Alabasta dwarfs it at around 8,000 kilometers. And then you see a panel of Alabasta.
Oh, I know what they're using. I know what they're using for that. It's the I know what it is. So do you remember during the Alabasta arc where it would show you where the characters are during the fight in the city?
Yes.
They're using that map, which is not an accurate map to use either.
Yeah, but there's no islands within Aisha of any of the other islands in One Piece, so it's not like the worst argument.
This is the same thing of trying to get like the distance of a country, where when you're trying to compare it to a river. You need more information. You need keys. And yes, it is specifically stated that the river is 50 kilometers wide. That is absolutely true. You can't garner how big the actual country is off that alone. You need a key.
I mean, you would just say this isn't. You would just say this wouldn't be an exact number. Then this would just be like a reference point. I mean,
no, like I've discussed this with you before. I'm okay with One Piece being a bigger planet. I think that makes perfect sense that it's a bigger planet than our own. But you can't put a definitive number on it.
Hello, Rockin' House. That's fair. With this size, the main, I guess, well, they just give a diameter for the Grand Line being 1 million kilometers.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't accept that.
I mean, you would just say, what? Like, the One Piece planet's, 2 times bigger, 3 times bigger than Earth, or arbitrarily bigger?
No.
How would you?
No, I would just say that's vaguely bigger to an unknown extent, because I don't have actual information to give you to prove how big it actually is. I would just say that, yes, it's bigger. To what extent? I don't know, but it is bigger.
I'm not going to fight you on this one, but I feel like you don't necessarily need a map to calculate the size of a planet if you have enough points of reference to work with.
You do, because sometimes they'll show you islands where some are bigger than others, but then they'll show them being like sort of comparable in size. A good showing of this is when they first talk about the supernovas in Sabo Archipelago, and they show the different routes that you can go, and they have like little demonstrations of all the islands that you can go to depending on what route you choose.
Yes, because there's like allegedly, I think there's like 8 or 9 routes you can take.
Yes.
I think it's 9 routes because each supernova took their own route through the Grand Line, with the exception of Zoro and Killer because they're on a different
They're on
supernova ship.
Yeah, they're on Luffy's and Kid's crew. So so I think you can kind of see my issue now, because it's like when they show you the islands using that map, the islands aren't shown to be bigger or smaller than each other. They're shown to be like relative, and we know that like Drum Island is not anywhere near as big as Alabasta.
That's fair. Soul Society is faster time-wise. They were in Soul Society for 10 days and came back at the end of summer break. Yeah, no, I'm actually surprised One Piece doesn't have like a like an actual atlas, like as like a special product you can buy to get like an actual map that's supposed to be like in reference. It seems like
I'm sure if you were to ask Oda, like he would like, he might be like tongue in cheek and be cheeky about it, but I'm sure he would give you like the actual size of the planet.
Here, let me look it up real quickly.
He might be cheeky about it. Like, surely that's in like an SBS.
Apparently it has 20 million islands. It's all just calculations. Although,
Yeah, get the fuck away from Reddit.
oh yeah, can't do it.
You might as well just use Comic Vine at that point.
Well, the point is, I guess there's not an answer. Hang on. Wait. Aren't these islands the peak of the original country height-wise due to the floods? Yes. Which is the weirdest twist One Piece ever had.
No, the weirdest twist One Piece ever had was how disappointing Rizo was.
Bruh. With this size, the main feats affected by Whitebeard, or the main feats affected would be Whitebeard making quakes that nobody on the planet would be able to escape from, requiring planetary wide range, which can get into Yatatons. That's the main feat most scalable to the Warlords, given this was Whitebeard far from his prime and the performances against comparable threats.
Whoa. I wouldn't say all of them scale to that, unless we're about to do some very based Moria scaling to Kaido.
So technically, all of the Warlords would be closer to the Yonko than they would be to other people. Except Admirals, of course.
But let's be very clear here, not all Warlords were made the same.
Wouldn't that screw with island scaling? No, because even if they're the leftover continent, we can't prove the submerged part of the island is being affected, so we'd only go with the surface. Moon explosion.
Well, the problem that we have as well is, and this is something that we don't bring up enough because we just can't be fucking bothered in power scaling. What we consider an island differs from place to place, because an island isn't just like this one thing that meets this like one standard. You can have like tiny islands that are like the size of a town, or you can have like islands like Australia, which is a continent and also an island.
True. Okay, so apparently we're not using the moon explosion because I guess they don't know how it scales. The Mother Flame, it's not really scalable.
You know what? I'm surprised that they're not bringing out the big guns and they're not using Film Zed's like explosions during the Grand Line with the eggs.
No, that'd be based, and they can't do that. Also,
It'd be based if they confirm that Zed's an actual character.
I'm gonna say right now, we don't actually know how the island was blown up. I know it's a weird thing to say, but like, it's the assumption made is the mother flame was used. We don't know how. Comprehensive energy scale. I'm not gonna go through all this. I'm just gonna go for the high ends. Kaguya's? Wait. Oh, so are we just getting everything and then you're gonna be like, okay, this is where they scale? Like, what the fuck? Just give me what they scale to.
Just give us what the Akatsuki do. Don't give us like shit that they don't scale to.
Apparently. Okay, yeah, so we just don't get the highest one. Comprehensive speed scale. Okay.
Wait, hang on. Go back up for One Piece. Did that say Kaido or did that say Bullet?
Kaido. I don't see bullet.
Oh, I thought it said like Bullet, and I'm thinking like, whoa, you're bringing out the Stampede scaling?
Based.
Buggy's about to get a fucking upgrade.
Planetary bullet Hancock incoming. We'll see. Speed. It looks like they don't start giving light speed until Kurama and Datara. Okay. Hisame vomits water really fast is apparently up to potentially 3,000 times FTL. Okay.
That feels fucking wrong. I think they've done some weird bullshit here because you can get light speed earlier than that. But whatever.
Bleach. Balla 20 times FTL.
Wait. Whoa. They have Bleach slower than Naruto? That shouldn't be right.
It's not. It's not. War Arc, Lee, and Guy outspeeding Haku is the fastest speed they have at 244 times FTL, and Bleach technically sits closer to 1,000 more comfortably because of Stark's Cerro Volley, which I don't think is actually a usable feat.
I'm still gonna say that's a massive downplay of speed for Bleach.
I'm gonna just sit here and say I know Lightspeed's pretty consistent, but like, what's vastly faster that you guys actually have numbers for?
Oh, transformations. And the fact of like characters in base match that transformation later on and get way stronger and way faster, and then they can do it again and keep scaling.
Wait, Luffy dodges Foxy's beams is only 6.8 light speed?
What?
That seems wrong.
That should just be light.
Oh, it's why fucking look. I
Wait,
understand.
do they have the speed of Luffy dodging Enaru's lightning when he's with Konus?
Skypia Nami blocks lightning. Skypia Zoro lightning timing. No, not yet. Looks like Thriller Bark Zoro dodges Kuma's laser. Is only 0.3 times the speed of light.
It's a fucking laser.
It's already mid-fire! What the fuck?
It's already moving!
That must be...
There is some bullshit happening here.
Okay, hold on. Thank you for the birthday, devil. Hang on. This don't make the... The light's already moving!
Oh. No, go back up and we'll go through panel by panel. Kuma fires, Zoro sees that he's firing, the laser moves, and then he fucking dodges.
Listen, guys, listen, fine. It's not light speed entirely. Fine. But there's no way this isn't like 80% the speed of light.
I need people to understand. Yeah, I get it. Kuma is like 15 feet tall, but Zoro is literally like less than a meter in front of him.
Bro, what is... I got it. Oh, fuck. I'm gonna message Cyber to explain this to me later because like I need someone who understands math to explain this bullshit to me. Oh, okay. Pop off, King.
Not happy, Jan.
Okay. Pre-time skip. Luffy dodges it. Bro, bro,
Wait.
what
What's
the
that
fuck
free time
is
skip? Yeah.
this? What?
How is that? How is his one slower than fucking? How's his one faster than Zoro's when Zoro was closer?
Post time skip Luffy reacts to the Pacifista laser is only 3.8 times the speed of light. Hold up. What? Are we not using the anime? Sanji dodged the laser! The anime feed's only 88. What?
Wait. Are they using the time frame of how many seconds it takes for the laser to get to him?
Let me go back and check. No? No, they're not.
Then how would they get the speed then?
Well, you assume the beam is light, and they're calculating based on the distance of Luffy to the Pacific. This seems like bullshit. Zor. I'm gonna say this is bullshit. One Don Flamingo cuts up Fujitori's meteor anywhere from 12 times the speed of light to 63 times the speed of light. Bullshit. Bullshit. How does this one get that much speed, but dodging literal light does? Oh. Oh.
Hello.
Oh, hello, Mangler. This be some bullshit.
There'd be some fucking downplay going on.
I didn't know it was your birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you, Mangler. Thank you. Hey, I'm gonna dodge light, but it's only gonna be 6% the speed of light. Okay.
So which One Piece G1 blog is this one?
This is the
It's
Espada versus the Akatsuki versus the Warlords. Look,
God, how much downplay could they do for all of them?
You have no idea, dude. They did things where they granted shit for Naruto only just so they could try and get something for One Piece's planet later. It's like you're not slick. I understood what you're doing.
I'm gonna assume it is entirely just ignoring light speed stuff for One Piece, ignoring it for Bleach, not ignoring it for Naruto.
No. They acknowledge light speed for One Piece and Bleach, but it's absurd for One Piece the shit that they don't give, because Zoro can literally dodge like Kuma's laser mid fire, and they're just like 4% the speed of light. It's like it's mid fire. He reacts to it. What do you mean it's not light speed?
They argue it's relativistic, but like you can't calculate 4% the speed of light even at that range. Like how close is he standing to Kuma? Like less than 10 meters away?
He's like a meter or two away.
No, fuck that. That's not 4% the speed of light at that point. That's at least half.
No, you're right. You're right, Mangler. It's actually 8.3% the speed of light.
Bro, if something's moving at the speed of light at 3 meters away, I can't be 8% the speed of light. I have to be at least as fast as that projectile to react to it.
Listen, I'm just gonna say these calculations feel wrong. That's.
Oh, don't worry.
I don't even scale One Piece. I don't even scale One Piece, and that infuriates me. I thought he was like sniping him from across the map. I thought Kuma was like, yeah, walk and fire like an artillery. Like, you're telling me he was standing right in front of the fucker, and they're like, no, actually,
Don't worry.
8%.
Don't worry. It's even,
Take
don't
it or
worry.
leave it. It's a final bargain.
Don't worry, it's even more delicious because they didn't understand that by their logic of basically trying to argue that Waco Mundo, Earth, and the Serete are only planet size, that they would be saying that Bleach's Earth is only either just the planet or it's either just the solar system without even realizing, if you think that Bleach's Earth is an entire universe, that would apply to the fucking other two too!
So, it is funny to know, if you go with the highest end speed feats, Bleach is actually the slowest among these three verses, if you go with their highest end interpretations.
I would
Well,
literally,
based on-
I would literally switch that I would switch that the fuck around, son. I'd put Naruto slower than One Piece and Bleach by the higher ends.
Wait. Is this based on, like, pixel calcs that they just took, like,
Yes.
halfway through the series? What feats are they using, even?
Okay. So here are the Bleach feats that go past light speed. Sero speed, Soul Society Uryu outspeeding his own shadow, Mimi Hagi's travel speed, Watch's Ashwaldlin, the speed of a Bala, being 20 times FTL, Hisagi blitzing a barrage of Balas in the anime, which is greater than 20 times, Stark Sero volley, which they have at 1,276 FTL,
Sero
and then
Macheta.
and then the Soul King Shockwave crossing the realms. They have at 1,500 times the speed of light, roughly.
Do they understand that, like, 1,000 times, 500 times the speed of light, like, that's less than a light year
Mangler,
in terms of speed.
Mangler, what happened? What happened to Bankai? What happened to the Hollow transformation?
No. Wait. That's not even, to be clear, that's less than a light hour. You're not even traveling as fast as, you need to be traveling at least 3,600 times the speed of light to be traveling at the speed light travels over an entire hour in a second.
Mangler, I need you to concede the position because Kisame vomiting water really fast gets to 3,000 times light speed. So you need to.
No. Hang on a minute. Hang on a fucking minute. They said the Soul King Shockwave traveling. I understand why you'd be a liar or a fraud about the rest of them. You accept that they're not even on the same planet. You don't, putting aside, like, because you know they don't believe Waco Mundo and the Soul Society and the world living are on the same planet. Whether they believe in the same separate universes doesn't matter. You don't believe they're on the same planet. That doesn't make sense then. You can't logically believe that. You have to believe they're in the same solar system.
Mangler, by their logic, the Soul King's wave would also have to travel across the Garganta and the Valley of Screams.
No. Like, guys, do you know how much? Like, okay, if you were traveling the speed of light right now from the sun to the Orion cloud, it would take you several light years to travel that. You would barely be outside the solar system. Where the fuck are they getting these calculations? Do they know anything about basic physics? Look up the distance of the Orion cloud. Fucking idiots.
I'm going to say that as far as I know, I don't think they gave the human world universe size.
It doesn't matter. Even if you're on, you have to believe all of them are in the same solar system. That doesn't make any sense.
Silence.
No. Mangler.
And if that were the case, they would have told us that.
No, Mangler. Watch them say this for Bleach, but then they'll look at Sephiroth's supernova and they'll be like, "Oh, 1 billion times light speed."
Billion times light speed actually doesn't even, like, travel further than the solar system.
All right, boys. So, I'm not liking these One Piece calcs, but at least One Piece is faster than Bleach and Naruto. Pop off, King. Pop off.
Wait, what did they use for the One Piece stuff? Because I know that.
Hang on. I don't even know how the fuck they get there, because unless you take, like, certain arguments about, like gear scaling, which I don't think there are any any statements for how powerful or how much faster he gets, other than like the 100 times from the movie.
So allow me to explain. Fujitora's meteor is anywhere from 41.9 to 213 times the speed of light, and Doflamingo was able to cut it up before it hit him, and it was like really close. So there you go.
You mean cut it up when he had the screen barrier already up, waiting?
Hold up a minute.
Fucking attack.
You peasants!
Wait.
Digit scaling first. Can't come talk.
Wait. Is it 200 times the speed of light?
You understand what I'm saying, right? Where it's just like they're scaling Doflamingo, who already has his shield up, who's already waiting for this attack to fucking come.
Silence!
And he slices it. What a fucking reference. You know what?
Actually, wait. I think I understand how they came up with that calculation. You said it was around 219 times the speed of light, somewhere around there?
Yes. So
okay, yeah.
is shown putting the net up before the
No. I don't care about Doflamingo reacting to that. That doesn't matter. I care about the specific number they got. What did they say for the meteor feet?
Okay, let me click on the meteor feet. My apologies.
I need the exact number.
Speed of the meteor based on the asteroid belt, the distance between Earth and the asteroid belt range.
Okay, they just conceded their position. I was like, how the fuck are they getting the idea that it's FTL? Oh, because it's a meteor. And then they're like, all right, where do meteors come from? The asteroid belt. All right, guys, think about this for a minute, right? If meteors come from the asteroid belt, then we can obviously assume that planets come from different solar systems, right? It's crazy.
Hang on, it gets worse. Zim, they use the anime to calculate fucking Luffy dodge the lasers post time skip. Why didn't they use the time frame for the anime when it came to the meteor?
No. I refuse.
Is that context? No, we don't know. So that just doesn't make any sense, because if you're also why are they assuming One Piece's solar system has an asteroid belt back there? Like, why do they assume the planets in One Piece are the same? I'm sorry, like they concluded.
As fair as possible, I do agree that I don't understand why every time there's a fucking asteroid being used, why everyone just assumes it came from a random as fuck asteroid belt that we have no proof of existing.
No. So it's what they're assuming is that they have the exact same solar system layout as our universe, and that there is an asteroid belt approximately, like, I don't know, 4 to 5 minutes at light speed away from Mars. They think that is in the One Piece universe. That's what they would need to believe in order for this calculation to make sense.
No. Wouldn't they be, by that logic, wouldn't they be trying to use the one from Saturn or Jupiter?
No. So the asteroid belt in our solar system is in between Mars and Jupiter. That's the main one. There is like other mini ones, but like the major one is like halfway through the solar system.
Silence.
So if you're taking a calculation with meteors, wait, actually, hang on. I know what will settle this. When they talked about Naruto scaling, did they bring up Madara summoning creation of all things during the war arc?
They might have mentioned it, but we kind of skipped over it because it wouldn't scale to the Akatsuki, according to them.
If they brought it up at all, it's fair. No. If they brought it up at all, it's fair game, because by their logic, where did he get that asteroid from? Where did that come from?
Yeah, we're just looking over. We just saw some of the speed feats now. That's not mentioned at all.
No, I refuse. Oh, hang on. Madara reacts to heavenly transportation. What is the
heavenly transportation? Yep.
Do they have the meteor feat from Madara at all?
I mean, to be fair, it's not something like no one's actually reacting to it. To be clear, it just shows up in the atmosphere. No one reacts to it at all. But I'm saying you have to specifically
based on the meteor, you would assume.
Zim, you have to understand the meteor in Naruto just no clips out of the sky.
No. Like when he activates it, it's already in the atmosphere. Nobody reacts to it. You don't see the panel of them like.
All right.
Okay, they don't just like float up and they're like outer space, and then you see a meteor crossing to the Naruto planet. Like that doesn't happen. It's just in the sky.
All right, boys. Let's get to the verdict now that we've seen that One
All right,
Piece
sorry.
Speed Blitzes Naruto and Bleach. All right, boys. Third
Of course.
place, Akatsuki. Oh, no one's surprised by this. They say some might be surprised, but I knew the Warlords would beat the shit out of the Akatsuki. Never a doubt. Never.
What did they say about Hex?
No.
Okay. Continue.
For what it's worth, it's not by a drastically large margin, as the Akatsuki have overall the broadest arsenal and the best teamwork amongst the three teams. Oh, I don't know about best teamwork.
Broadest arsenal? What the fuck?
I guess
That's absolutely wrong.
I guess the Espada just don't have anything.
Because Mangler's here. He can confirm this with me. The Akatsuki don't work together because
okay, all right. Let's go down.
Powers synchronized together. If you got all of them together, they would not synergize. That's why they go in groups of 2.
No. Let's put it aside. Teamwork means working together as a team. Okay, let's be clear about something. Deidara wants to kill Itachi, which is a member of the Akatsuki. He wants to kill Orochimaru, who's a former member of the Akatsuki. He wanted to kill Sasuke just because he was going after Itachi. Pain also wanted to kill Itachi and remove him from the situation. Kisame was only loyal to him and was willing to kill other members if necessary. Kakuzu is always trying to kill Hidan, but he can't, and he's killed every other partner in the Akatsuki, and the only reason he can't kill Hidan is because he's immortal, and he states it multiple times, and Hidan would kill any of them if he could. He just can't, because they're stronger than him.
Yeah, and that's
Conan
why
is only there.
That's why Hidan literally jokes with him that, like, you're fucking stuck with me.
Zetsu literally would have killed any of them if it was necessary for the purposes of his plan, and he literally betrays Madara at the first possible opportunity. Conan is only there because Pain is there, and Pain also would have killed anyone for the purposes of his... Like, what are we talking about? Like, about their teamwork? Even, moral...
Here's where I have to ask the question. Is that worse than the Espada and the Warlords?
Yes, it is. Because the Espada make it clear they don't give a fuck about each other. So you don't have to sit here and lie to me about it. I'm like, yeah, of course, like they would try to fight each other if the situation came around to it. But also, the higher ups at the Espada could also just force them to fight together, or they would die. They also
understand that, like,
basic self-preservation.
Well, it's also like, I know what your powers are, and I know not to get in your way. You know what I do, and you know how far you need to be away when I fight.
Well, so the difference with the Akatsuki and the Espada is that the Espada are ranked based on their spiritual power, and most of the Vasto Lordes are very serious about, like, controlling Las Noches in an orderly structure, which is the top 4 Espada, aka the strongest ones. And then two of the lowest ones... Actually, 3 of the lowest ones, like Zaya Laparo, Adenyeto, and Zomari, are serious about doing it too. The only 3 ones that don't give a fuck about the rules are just Grimmjow, Noitora, and Yami. Congratulations, those are like 2 middle Espada and the weakest one in base. And Yami follows Ukiura wherever he goes. So it's actually only 2 of them. Whereas, like, half the Akatsuki members either want to kill each other, betray each other, or murder each other, and they can kill most of each other because of how their powers work. That's not the case with the Espada. The lower Espada cannot fight the higher Espada.
Isn't Yami literally, like, the strongest Espada member?
No, that's only in his Resurrection.
But he has the
Are
zero.
You rage-baiting fuck. Even on your birthday?
No, it's fine. Because he can't justify the fucking Warlords ever working with each other willingly. They'll all try and fuck each other over at any possible moment they can.
No, that's wrong. That's wrong. Hold up. While the Warlords will not work together, like, as a team, they will not actively try and fuck each other over. Because they have no interest in playing those games.
Doflamingo being like, hey, Moria, fuck you.
That's because he was ordered to kill Moria. That's completely different.
So I was just gonna say that like the idea that they have a more
He's
versatile
very
arsenal is
capable
also
of not following orders if he doesn't want to. He does
is
it
also
all the time.
completely hilarious. Like
Listen.
what in the Akatsuki's kit compares to like most of the abilities of like the warlords
No, man.
or
for
like
the most
if I could spot
versatile.
us. No, like the only character that's actually versatile would just be Nagato, and that's only if Nagato is like
Alive.
no, well, yeah, like I mean, if he's using all of his powers on like one body, not through the six
I think
paths.
they also mentioned Aizen did try to make some work in teams, but didn't
You,
work
you,
out for
you
most of
mean when
them.
he's not hooked up to the device and he's just like, fuck it,
When he's
I'll
not on
fight
life
myself?
support. When he's not on life support, yes.
No, hi, bro.
Yeah, he's just like, fuck it, I'll
Totally.
fight using my own body, not the corpse of my dead best friend.
Or no, I think you said it this morning. Actually, I don't remember last night's stream. Well, the only 4 members of the Akatsuki that actually respect each other are Itachi and Kisame and Pain and Konan.
Respect is very loose.
For that team, it is true though, because Kisame literally kills himself in order to keep the secrets of the Akatsuki safe. So he's definitely a loyal
Alright.
one.
So let's continue now that they have just had a wonderful section because there's a lot to get.
Yeah, but
to
let's be
apparently.
very clear here. If push came to shove, Kisame is loyal to Obito. He would fuck Pain over in a heartbeat if he was told to.
Okay, so but holistically speaking, the Akatsuki are the lowest in stats and have the weakest counters. Oh, please say that again for the people in the back of the class. All right.
Let's start with stats and work our way down to the comparison to see where Naruto's Rogue Shinobi fall short here. Attack potency. We're looking at the, quote, average member of the Akatsuki. That is to say your Hidans and Kakazus and your Kasuris and Dataras and Kisames. A good baseline for the stats would be the strength of the average tail beast bomb. Well, hold up a minute. All of those are average? I remember Kisame being basically a genetically engineered fucking human. That's a tailless tailed beast. Sasori, to be fair, is basically an engineered puppet. He's no longer human. Kakazu is just a dude that's immortal. Like, his physical body isn't stronger than anyone else's.
Why do you say that like that's somehow, like a normal statement? Oh, he's just a dude who's immortal.
No. Like when I say he's immortal, I mean like he's not more durable. Like you just kill him, and that gets rid of one of his hearts. That's it.
Mangler, his entire gimmick is literally just that doctor from Supernatural who replaces his organs so he doesn't get old.
Yeah, except he does it in a more effective manner.
Since all of the Akatsuki were recruited with the purpose of battling tailed beasts and their Jinchuriki, this is the minimum level of power that the Akatsuki is required to be able to contend with.
No, that's not true. So we do not have a single example of an Akatsuki member tanking a tail beast bomb. The only thing we have is specifically that one scene with what was it called? What's the name of the Two Tails Jinchuriki?
Hold on.
Miyabi?
No, the Jinchuriki, not the tail beast.
Hold on, Mangler. It seems you're wrong.
Yugito.
Yugito. Yeah, so Yugito, people claim that Yugito uses a tail beast bomb on Kakazu. I've checked that chapter like 5 times. That's never stated. Tail beast bomb isn't even introduced at that point. She just shoots a normal chakra bomb thing at him, and he specifically has to go diamond mode in order to tank it. He does not tank that in base. And Hidan only survives it because he's immortal. I read the entire manga like 3 times. Go ahead. Claim what you will.
Narrative is far from the only evidence. Kakazu has tanked Tail Beast bombs directly with little damage.
Only one. It wasn't a Tail Beast bomb. It was a chakra bomb.
So
and he used diamond mode to enhance himself.
Hang on, I'm going to ask the question. Do they think that the ink bomb that B uses against Sasuke was a Tail Beast bomb?
That wasn't a big, and to be clear, that melted Suikatsu. It actually turned him into water.
Because Mangler knows what I'm talking about, because by their logic, they would call that a Tail Beast bomb, even though that's just an ink bomb.
Hold on, boys.
Data's explosives have been compared favorably to them on top of the fact that they're capable of one-shotting the Three Tails. A Three Tails that was, like, off guard, and also doesn't have a Jinchuriki.
Well,
also,
wait, hang on. Were they,
To be-
are they using the filler anime? Fuck,
No,
what's
it
that
happens
how
in the
to fight
manga
men?
too. It happens in the manga. It happens in the manga. You didn't read the manga. But the thing is
I
that
fucking
it doesn't.
did. I ended it.
I literally read it again the other day. There's literally a scene where he does it.
Right.
There's like a
fucking
full.
went through the manga to make Naruto manga accurate.
Yes, it is. It's in the manga. You're wrong. There is
No.
literally a scene. Yes, it is. I will go get it for you after the
I want
stream, and
that
I will
panel.
shove it in your face. Yes, it's literally there. Where do you think they got it from? Where do you think they adapted that from?
Filler. I thought it's the same reason.
It's
Naruto
not
did
filler.
fucking
It's not
two.
filler. You assumed it was filler because you just assume things that you think don't contribute to the story are filler.
No, if it's not in the manga, it's filler.
It's in the manga, and no, you're wrong. You're still wrong. But it doesn't matter anyway, because it doesn't have anything to do with the point, which is why the fuck would knocking out a tailed beast scale you to the tailed beast bomb? The bomb is a massive chakra compression of their energy. That's not their normal attacks. That scales above the tail beast.
That's funny. That's funny.
This is the equivalent. This is the equivalent of the tail beast firing a fucking nuke of their caliber at you.
I needed this. What a fun blog.
Oh my god.
Okay. Okay. Sasori is stronger than Deidara, while Hidan is definitely weaker than Kakazu. It is not by such a tremendous margin. The two are not relative, given that they both contend somewhat evenly with Kakashi. Bullshit. Not to mention Kisame, who is renowned as the tailed beast without a tail, and is explicitly stated to be able to output Jinchuriki-like power, on top of directly defeating Roshi, the four-tailed Jinchuriki.
Never tanks Roshi's tail beast bombs. The Roshi gets off-screened, and he's also a water-style ninja that absorbs chakras. So he directly countered Roshi's entire fighting style. Also, water is stronger against fire inherently. So, like, this is a disingenuous take. Not to mention his sword also absorbs chakra. So,
Hold on. When clashing with Kurama, if 5-tailed beast bombs put together could contribute half of the explosion that dispersed air across
None of
hundreds
the Koski scale to that.
Hold on.
hold on. Maybe they got something.
Across hundreds of kilometers in a split second, dividing it up evenly among participants, which is bullshit. Each tailed beast was putting in about 444 pentatons of TNT.
They claim that Kurama only was the one who batted that away. Fucking the
Hold up a minute. That wouldn't even be multicon. They're just lying. If you check the panel on the manga, when it explodes, the explosion when it lands just sits next to like a mountain range.
AP over DC. AP over DC.
There's no AP. You're getting the AP from the DC, you fucker. If it's next to a mountain, it's the size of a mountain.
AP, bro. Get off my
No,
level.
I know
You
how
wanna
they
see
got
these
it.
arguments?
No. I know how they got it. They fucking pixel count the crater.
No, there is no crater. Not in the manga or in the anime.
Only to step up from this, you have the higher tier members of the Akatsuki, including Itachi.
Oh god. Upscaling.
Obviously, all of them would get scaled or would get tailed beast bombs as well, plus several other pentaton level feats. They don't say Itachi, so it doesn't matter. But the best number you can pull out is Sasaki's Kirin, which Itachi blocked with his Susanoo.
Whoa, we are not skipping past that. How do you fuck that up? How do you fuck up
Sasuke's
Sasuke?
Kirin.
Fuck
Like-
you.
No, shut up. How do you fuck up Sasuke?
No,
Wait.
Sasuke-
Why are we hang on. Why are we scaling Conan to Storm? Why are we scaling Itachi to Kirin when he blocked it with the Yada mirror?
No, forget that. I want answers to my question first.
Yes.
How did you fuck that up?
It's been a long day.
Oh, yeah.
I don't wanna hear it.
Yeah, like he doesn't scale to his Susanoo. I think that's indicative. Like, why would the Susanoo exist as a power if the Uchiha physically scaled to the Susanoo? What would be the point if they were physically as tanky as their
So,
Susanoo?
let me tell you about a game called Final Fantasy 16 for a minute.
Oh my god. You're just like, oh, look at this big armored form, but trust me, bro, I'm actually just as strong as I am in the non-armored form.
No, boys.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
No, boys. I'll do you one better. You're gonna love my cooking. Have you seen Pacific Rim? Now watch me scale the humans to the Jaegers.
Don't no.
Okay, but listen. As all joking aside, I'm pretty sure the Yata is stated to be able to block any attack. I think that's just like a property of the
Yeah, but that's the point.
Yes,
Then
yes, it is. It is.
You wouldn't use that durability.
So it scales to Itachi's base.
You wouldn't use the durability then.
Sorcery is stronger than people give him credit for. Canonically destroyed an entire nation. We are not told that one, but that's not a small feat. That is.
He did it
because
over time.
No. It is because he specifically says I used it with the 100 puppets Jutsu to take down an entire nation, and that is the only information we are given about that. That is incredibly.
And you know what you can infer from that? You can infer that he took out the fucking army. He didn't do anything else with it.
No. That's incredibly fucking vague. Like what? Did he throw 100 puppets at the country from midair and the country exploded? Is that what you think? No, he clearly took out the governments.
You're gonna feel real stupid when that gets animated, and it's just him carpet bombing a.
Oh yeah, no. I'll be waiting for it. Part 2's done.
No, I'm gonna ask you this question. Fucking when? No one gives a fuck about sorcery.
No, I mean people do, but it's like when is that going to be animated? We're in the Boruto sequel era now. We're never getting sorcery shit. We didn't even get a sorcery light novel.
Actually, that's probably given his backstory, that'd probably be pretty fire if he actually got.
Oh yeah, no, they probably just start him off in the third grade.
The blast from Kirin annihilated the Akatsuki fortress within a fraction of a second, dispersing its mass at a fraction of the speed of light, requiring a yield exceeding 1.3x tons of TNT. Hold on.
Wait, what?
Nearly 3 times stronger than Tail Beast Bomb.
Exatons. Hold up. Even if we're saying, well, okay, to be fair, it's because technically if you're destroying a hideout like that big, the total mass of the hideout would weigh somewhere in the hundreds to thousands of tons. So if you're obliterating...
No.
Yeah, but the problem is that would only be like...
Mingler. It's
kilotons.
It's because it's dispersing its mass at a fraction of the speed of light.
That doesn't matter.
It's lightning. It doesn't have mass.
Yes. Keep in mind that Itachi blocked the attack literally minutes before dying of illness. So as Nido Tensei, he'd be even stronger. As with full power Naruto.
Yeah, even stronger as he gets fucking vaporized. And then just comes back.
If you restore, Konan would also scale via destroying Pain's Tsubaki Tensei.
You mean that technique where she had to gather tons of paper bombs, which is a prep, because this is a prep time attack, that wouldn't scale to what she's naturally walking in with.
Okay, so we can give Batman prep time, but we can't give women prep time? Be better, Kyle. Be better.
Sure. A step above all of them is Renegon Obito, who's portrayed on par with Edo Madara. Edo Madara and Edo Hashirama were about on par with each other. Edo Hashirama was stated only barely be weaker than he was when he was alive. This is relevant because live Hashirama style Nine Tails. During the battle with Hashirama, produced a Tail Beast Bomb with 46 Zeta tons of TNT to nearly 6 Yoda tons of TNT. While no one else in the Akatsuki would scale, this would be applicable level of power to White Mask Obito.
Okay, I got a question.
Yeah, White Mask Obito, who basically got stabbed through the heart by Kakashi, who you claimed was relative to Kakazu. That's a pretty massive jump.
I got a big question. If it doesn't scale to the Akatsuki, why fucking mention it?
I will say I'm not the biggest fan of them including Obito with the Renegon. I feel like
White Mask.
Silly.
Yeah, if you're using Obito battles, I think it's fine. If you're using the Akatsuki as a unit, like no.
No, that's the thing. Me and Zim talked about this earlier, where it's like,
hold on, boys.
you shouldn't be using Ten Tails
Nah.
or
Wait, hold up. They got Orochimaru? What is
Boruto. Kyle, we Boruto scaling. For
finally at the top of the podium we have Boruto. Hang on. Keep
fucking joking.
We have at the top of the podium poll, we have Boruto, Arrow, Orochimaru. While probably not comparable to the top tiers of Boruto, Arrow, Orochimaru should be at minimum comparable to 96 nameless chemo shinobi working together to power the chakra cannon from the last, which is powerful enough to shoot it into space and annihilate the massive meteors visible in space to the planet. Given the size and scale of the Naruto planet, the per energy output of each shinobi would equal 127 yotatons of TNT. With this in mind, okay. Honestly, if you wanted to make an argument for scaling, you would just argue specifically that after he came back from like Anko's curse mark and getting his arms back, that he now has a pure Hashirama body, so he'd be stronger than he was at any point in his life. And that's the best argument you're going to make.
You can do better than that. If you
you can't actually.
If you want to do better than that, all you have to do is just say that, like, he scales to fucking... What's the silly white Zetsu called?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
All right.
He doesn't really, but like he has no feats after he comes back in the war arc.
With this in mind, we've established a decent baseline power scale for the Akatsuki. That said, there are some avenues to push them higher, besides Boruto, apparently.
No,
mainly
they
through
fucking
the
really
size of
isn't.
Turtle Island. 8 yotatons to 140 yotatons of TNT. This is the maximum high end, but it's worth noting that such a massive size of Turtle Island would be substantially inconsistent with every other visual depiction of the island other than the world map.
You people didn't give you people didn't give a fuck. You people didn't give a fuck about looking for specifics before. Don't start now.
All right, speed, boys. It's time for speed. Let's go. Okay.
Wait, I thought we went over speed. Oh wait, this is the verdict category for speed.
Yes.
Okay, continue.
Speed is fortunately a bit easier and more universal. It goes without saying that there are a metric shit ton of light speed statements for Naruto characters across multiple guidebooks, as well as various light-based attacks in the series. Oh, well, fucking, what does it matter if I can dodge them at 4 times the speed of light? Or 4% speed of light?
No, it's alright. It's alright, Zim. You fired light at me. It was just about to hit me, but then I danced around it 2% speed of light.
However, capping the verse at light speed is a massive oversimplification. I don't want to hear this.
Consider how early these statements begin to apply. Let's see. Use those examples because I'm gonna cut them down one by one because I know what they're gonna say.
I'm gonna say this right now. I'm less interested about when Naruto sits in terms of light speed. I'm more interested on how the fuck they get the meteor for fucking One Piece.
The most obvious example of this is Haku, one of the main villains of the first arc of Naruto, who stated in both the databooks and the anime to move at the speed of light between his mirrors. This is occasionally argued as something that only applies later in the hype statement.
Wait, hang on. Take anime statements, then that means they're fine with taking the dub statements then. So that should also mean that they're fine for taking dub statements for Bleach.
Nope.
To try and sidestep making a Naruto FTL from the first arc, but this ignores the fact that Naruto blatantly outspeeds Haku's movements between the mirrors once he starts utilizing Kurama's chakra. He does this more than once, and both times can be directly calculated with FTL speed, since Naruto's moving greater than Haku in the first time frame in both cases. Completely wrong. They lied, and they also didn't get the source. So, in the actual manga, what is explained is that Haku is specifically using, in the Crystal Ice Mirrors technique, it is a form of the teleportation jutsu. And the way that it works is it projects his image from mirror to mirror. That's why he travels at the speed of light. However, they tell you directly on panel multiple times, both from Zabuza, from Sasuke, from every single character, that Haku is not trying to kill them, and that the tactic that he is using takes enormous amounts of chakra. So he is getting slower as the fight is progressing. The novel actually explains that he was originally moving at the speed of light, but by the time he tries to take out Sasuke, he's drastically slower. And Sasuke points out in the manga too, I can now see him. I can only see him for a little bit, but I can now see him. And he points out, by the time he attacks Naruto, that originally he was moving the speed of light, but now he's far slower because of the amount of chakra he's burned. So when Naruto grabs him, he's no longer moving at the speed of light. So you're completely wrong. No one ever reacts to Haku mid teleport.
We got comment. A no small feat on Obito mask that I can think of too is that he managed to mind control the Nine Tails, which is considerably way stronger than him. And Haribo showed she was vulnerable to Aizen's hypnosis. Yes, but it wouldn't matter because because this is technically a battle royale, but like it wouldn't matter if like she's vulnerable to hypnosis because
that's not that is a pretty small feat actually, because it's explained multiple times that the Sharingan is capable of controlling the Nine Tails. It's never stated you need an evolved Sharingan to do it. In fact, it is assumed by not just Danzo, but many of the village elders that you literally could have just controlled the Nine Tails if you had any of the Uchiha.
Wait, we're giving Rock Lee light speed?
Woohoo, I guess. I mean, sure.
We're giving Rock Lee light speed during the Chunin exam.
Upscaling from Haku, but this isn't really inconsistent either. It's bullshit, it is. During the Chunin exams, a weightless Rock Lee was able to move so fast that he disappears from sight and visibly leaves behind his own shadow when he does so. Since his shadow is formed from his body blocking the light to the ground, separating his own shadow would actively necessitate Lee to be outspeeding the ambient light in his surroundings. Another example of FTL speed. That's just how the panel looks. You can't argue that, though.
So, by their logic, would they assume that all of the shadow attacks that Shikamaru can do would be inherently light speed?
They probably assume they were relativistic because shadows chase light.
I have heard people argue that the shadow attacks are light speed. Not them specifically, but I have heard that argument before.
That's kind of dog shit. Compounding this, not much later in part 1, Kakashi was able to react to and block Itachi's water bullets, an attack directly stated to be light speed in the data book, despite Kakashi being much weaker in part 1 than he is later in the series. I have seen that statement. I have not seen the actual data book in question and translated it directly. I don't trust that to be reliable, considering the fact that Kakashi at like no point in time shows feats like that, and that specific ability in particular being light speed doesn't really make sense considering the statements they provide later in the series.
Okay, so we're going to skip a little ahead here because they're saying that the Akatsuki would outspeed the base ninja. We got Killer B, 4th Raikage's light speed attack.
Let's see. If we're going, wait. If we're going to bring up the databook statements, are we going to bring up the fact that the statement for the Raikage as the fastest shinobi alive at the Minato after Minato died, that his double lariat only moves at almost the speed of light? That's directly stated in the databook. No. So are you going to conclude that Itachi's water bullets are faster than the Raikage? No. That's literally what's stated.
This is why I kind of want to get my hands on the Japanese ones, because from what I've heard, is that the Japanese ones say that he's directly the speed of light, while the English says he's.
It would not matter. It would not matter. Either one would disprove the Itachi one. Because the Raikage is specifically amplifying his body with speed and has a superhuman body. You would never conclude dying fucking Itachi with some random water ability is moving at the speed of light.
Actually, considering Itachi is the strongest shinobi in the series and would beat everybody, I think that is perfectly fair to say he would not.
That's not because you're also admitting Haku can move at the speed of light, but he requires teleportation.
Well, that's because he's not Itachi.
I'll kill you. I'll kill you on your birthday.
Listen.
It's alright, Jim. It's alright, Jim. As long as you acknowledge that Foxy is only Rel.
No. Let's be consistent here. They're completely fine with throwing out anything that they don't seem to be narrative. I'm trying to be consistent because based on the Raikage, based on Haku's technique, they all have lore-given reasons for why they move that fast. Why would this random fucking water style ability move at light speed? That doesn't make any fucking sense. I toss that out in a heartbeat.
Because it's used by the greatest shinobi ever.
Actually, why would you assume it's coming from fucking Itachi? It's a water style ability. It's probably coming from Kisame. No, Kisame's literally right there with him.
No, because with the technique, they show the panel and it's Itachi using it.
It's okay.
Fucking bullshit. So
It's
we have
during
several
the-
examples.
It's during the fight when he's trying to hunt down Naruto the first time.
I know when it is. He shows up in part 1, which is all the more reason it makes less sense.
Nope.
So if we have several examples of FTL speed from relatively low level Shinobi practically from the beginning of the series. It actually follows that the top rank S-like ninja and the Akatsuki would be much farthest. How much faster? Well, that too is fairly consistent actually if we look at the degree to which characters are able to outspeed attacks that are stated to be light speed as the series goes on. Oh, let's continue.
So hang on. They're fine with all this being consistent, but they're not fine with Dante being massively faster than light. Got it.
Nope.
During the Gokage summit, Gaara's sand is able to cross a large distance in order to intercept attacks from the fourth Raikage. A mid-movement, with A's casual attacks being stated to be light speed in the databook. Likewise, A's brother Killer B can replicate attack per databook, and Sasuke was able to substantially outpace his lariat during their fight, especially in the anime. Later, during the war arc, Rock Lee and Might Guy were able to move a large distance to intercept Haku Ohagim when he was moving between the ice mirrors at the speed of light. I'd love to see that scene again.
There we go. Obviously, this puts them at a couple hundred times FTL. All right.
What?
Pretty chill. All right. Kisame.
Wait. All three of these characters can be directly calculated to determine the degree to which these characters are outpacing said light speed attacks, with all cases being the ballpark a couple hundred times. How the fuck can you believe that if you accept that Haku's moving at light speed? He's using a teleportation technique. His speed didn't get faster from the time that he died to the time that he was alive. If you blitz him, you're just faster than light. You're not like hundreds of times faster than light. That's assuming you actually catch him between the mirror.
I need this. Shh. I need these frauds to get the best possible condition because I know the fucking Akatsuki ain't worth shit.
Haku example especially paints a relatively clear picture. QB, what is KNO Naruto? What is that supposed to be? What is that acronym?
KNO?
KNO Naruto.
KNO.
Yeah, it says KNO. KNO Naruto was able to barely outspeed him at the beginning of the series. I'm assuming they're referring to that, like Kurama Naruto or whatever. Basically,
because it's the beginning of the series, so it'd be because he didn't have the Kurama cloak for the fight against Haku.
No. He says the Haku's example especially paints a relatively clear picture. KNO Naruto was able to barely outspeed him at the beginning of the series, whereas by the end of the series,
nearly knocked out.
Nearly not. These people need to have sand thrown in their eyes.
That's the only thing I can think of.
No, because K is K. That's not how you spell it.
Yeah. It would have to be in KO, not KNO.
Wait. Maybe it is supposed to be NKO. Maybe it's a typo.
No, it's not. What's the Japanese numeral for one?
I don't care.
Why would they be doing that?
Just carry on.
This level of speed would broadly apply to the entire Akatsuki. No, it wouldn't. But thanks for lying. Let's see.
Here's Kisame speed blitzing.
Kisame also has a pretty interesting feat that's worth acknowledging, where he spews so much water from his mouth that it floods. Rise in the span of a few seconds, based on the size of Kisame's mouth. He's only physically capable of expelling so much water at the time. So the actual speed it would need to be pushing the water out to fill the space would be anywhere from 587 to 2,925 times the speed of light. What? How can you calculate? Why would his water be moving at the speed of light?
Carry on.
Bro, that doesn't even make sense. It's the same reason you don't.
That's what I'm talking about.
No, it's the same reason with the Itachi example. They're trying to emulate the effects of the fucking element when they give it a change in form and change in nature. You have to then justify to me under physics how water can move at the speed of light. And if you can't provide an example, then I could toss that shit out a fucking window.
Yeah, I'm not.
Why would him spewing?
I'm not about it. I'll accept it.
No. You would have to accept my premise because that's how they explain it in the story. They tell you how chakra works as an energy system.
I hear your facts and I choose to reject them. Oh, hang on. No, we got some comments here. The only
If you accept, I was gonna say, if you accept Darwin's laser circus being light speed, you cannot accept the Itachi thing because you're only accepting it being light because it's a laser. But that only happens because its form and its nature is changed into a laser.
No. The only instance where you have a rough feat of speed will be Minato versus Obito. It might be KM0, Naruto using Kurama's power without showing off the tail.
Oh yeah, it could be Zero. A Kurama mode Zero. That's such a stupid fucking name to give. God, this is the worst. That's the most worst reason I've ever heard. It's supposed to be Kurama mode 0. It's not an O. It's a 0. So
that's stupid. Just call it One Tails Naruto.
Wait. Hang on. Kurama mode 0? So why is it an N? It's KNO, not KMO.
Kurama node 0.
I fucking hate these guys.
Well, you're not seeing the vision. And the only way that Minato avoided being absorbed Kamo was using FTG. In the war arc, Obito was able to react to Naruto in his chakra clone mode, and he was supposed to be faster than the 4th Raikage. That's primarily due to like the Sharingan and the Rinnegan, but it's also explained in the light novels. The Sharingan allows you to see things within like 1/100th of a second. So your reaction time is being amplified way beyond your physical body.
Hang on.
Then the Rinnegan makes it more exaggerated.
All right, so do we have to go through their arsenal, or are you all relatively familiar with what their arsenal does?
I'm relatively familiar with that.
Kyle?
Oh,
I don't need to go through the arsenal.
All right.
Well, I want to see the arguments for One Piece.
I just want to see what they say at the beginning about the arsenal. Hang on, let's. What do they claim? Between the 3 teams, the Akatsuki come out in terms of quantity with a vast array of options at their disposal. Let's go through each member's one at a time. Yeah, okay, so quantity versus quality argument. All right, skip then.
No, they say cover how they fare. So they're gonna talk about how they like actually work in the matchup. Fuck.
Oh, beautiful.
Okay.
Let's see it.
Okay, I'm gonna skip down. Okay, here we go. Here's where they first mention someone else. Starting with the Diva Pat's control over attractive and repulsive gravitational forces. Ichigo's performance versus Aizen's Kudo Hitsugi?
Hang on.
It's like I've heard the words. I know I've heard them.
Yeah, Black Coffin. Hada number 90.
Demonstrates that powerful Reiatsu can overcome intense gravity from lesser opponents. Given that the Espada are stronger than Pain, they should be able to replicate this. Likewise, as powerful a seal as Tsubaki Tensei is, it can be broken by a powerful enough opponent, and all the Espada are stated to be capable of breaking out of seals. Similarly, looking at the Warlords. Blackbeard's darkness is to some extent an equivalent to the Diva Pat. Given
wait, we're still giving them Blackbeard?
Yeah. Given that it grants Blackbeard gravity manipulation of his own.
Wait, hang on. Are they scaling them to shit like post Marineford? Because the Warlords were disbanded after Marineford.
No,
you better believe they are.
The Warlords get disbanded after Dressrosa. They are still there until after Dressrosa. Now, granted, Blackbeard was a warlord for like 5 minutes, so I don't know why the fuck he's in this conversation, but okay.
So what I'm hearing
so
is
Buggy in there too?
Yep, probably.
What I'm hearing is chain backscaling for everybody.
So this actually isn't G1 Blog's fault. This is One Piece's fault. The more One Piece goes on, the worse the more chains.
I know. We've had this conversation so many times.
And can negate attacks in a similar way as Shinra Tensei. Defensively, several different One Piece characters have feats of enduring assaults by Fujitori's gravity, such as Law and Zoro. Given that Law was weaker than Doflamingo at the time, and Fujitori's gravity should be stronger than Nagito's based on their respective AP scaling, the other warlords should be capable of replicating this resistance. As for Tsubaki Tensei, Doflamingo's Awakening is a strong counter, being able to turn it into strain, given that the planetoid is an inorganic
Man.
object. Greater AP can also overcome Tsubaki Tensei, as shown by Naruto, and
Man,
lost spatial
can I just say,
manipulation.
I fucking despise that they used Morning Tiger but not Hiradora. And here, instead of saying Planetary Devastation, they keep using Chibaku Tensei.
That and the Hashirama cells, that was why the only way Obito lost that fight was because he was 4v1, even they still barely got hits in. Hollow number 90. Yes. Healing Path and Araka Path are soul manipulation, shut down by the Espada's resistance to soul manipulation.
They are fucking souls.
They're
The
literally a clone Baku.
They would also be insignificant against the Warlord, since Law and Jinbei have shown resistance against Big Mom. No. Okay, so this is where it's wrong. In order for Big Mom to rip your soul out, you have to be afraid of her. If you're not afraid of her, she can't rip your soul out. Jinbei
Very
and
specific
Brook
condition.
were just not scared of Big Mom. So you have to meet the condition for the soul manipulation to work. Given that powerful enough Haki... Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to read it. Given that powerful enough Haki can overcome Devil Fruit abilities as a blanket rule, those of warlords who possess Haki should be able to resist soul-based hacks based on Brook's Devil Fruit, which includes soul manipulation as well.
Okay, so this goes back to your position, or not to anyone's position, but this goes back to how do you want to take Haki resistance? Does it nullify the Devil Fruit's ability or the source, which is the Devil Fruit, in terms of power scaling? How do you want to take that one? It's going to be up to the individual.
Seems to be more capable of nullifying the source since it consistently works on Logia types, regardless of what they're made out of. You can't believe it nullifies the one thing, because then how would you be able to fight more than one Haki user? Or how would one Haki user be able to fight more than one Logia user then? Because there's dozens of Logia users.
So the problem is that Haki works similar to Sea Prism Stone, and when Luffy touches Sea Prism Stone, he can still stretch. He's just extremely weak.
Yeah, because the source of it, being the ocean, basically disagrees with the phenomenon of the Devil Fruit, because it's an abomination to nature.
All right, so
yes, so it's eliminating the source of energy that sustains that fruit.
Animal Path would be useless. Azure Path would also be effectively useless.
Yep. Most useful of Pain's abilities, somewhat incredibly surprising. The Pray the Path, as its ability to absorb spiritual energy and jutsu would prove incredibly useful. No, it wouldn't. This would allow Pain and Nagato to absorb Haki and Ryoku given verse equalization, allowing them to negate ranged attacks or drain energy from a person.
Right. Kyle, what'd you say? Hold on. What did Kyle say?
What brings them to the conclusion that it would be able to absorb Haki? Haki, while a power system, it's not something akin to energy.
It's willpower, but they're doing verse equalization.
Even if you verse equalize, you still wouldn't be able to make that argument because you're not equalizing anything that's there.
How many times I tell you no?
I would just argue the Preda Path, if he absorbed any Reishi from the Espadas, his soul would immediately be crushed.
All right, I'm gonna go
or disintegrated.
I'm gonna go use the restroom real quickly, so you guys keep reading the blog.
I can only read it to an extent.
You know what, Zim? We'll control the computer for you.
Yeah, you might have to scroll down to the end of this one.
Here.
Instead of going over the rest of the ability, just go down to fucking where One Piece starts.
This would allow Pain or Nagato to absorb both Haki and this. Well, it has been demonstrated that characters in Bleach could, such as Ukitake, Nozomi, and anime, overwhelmed by a sufficient volume. Preda Path specifically can continue to absorb energy indefinitely. Massive fucking no limits fallacy. The data book describes the ability at which Pain is sending the energy into a bottomless swamp, which is corroborated by Pain using it to absorb attacks that are stronger than him, like Naruto's Rasen Shuriken. Man, it's really just getting carried by the data books here. You have no fucking statements in your anime and manga. Secondly, like even if you did absorb the spiritual pressure, which you can't, I love it. I love that they conceded that they couldn't prove that point at all because there are no feats demonstrating that. So they just equalized the energy systems because they decided, you know what, we got to turn our brains off because it's the only way we can beat One Piece or Bleach.
Oh no, I still think that like Naruto beats One Piece, but it doesn't beat Bleach.
I don't know if I would agree with that because I don't believe Naruto characters physically are as durable as what they can output. That's made very clear by the series. And their abilities are not that versatile. But this is getting into a separate problem, which is that the reishi that they have can physically affect objects as well. Like when you get soul crushed, it doesn't just crush your soul, it's the energy from someone's soul crushing everything in the surrounding area. So if you have a physical body attached to that body will also just get disintegrated. That said, Predapath is not impossible to work around. For starters, when speaking about the path of pain, specifically, it cannot use any abilities other than its absorption, so it needs to be combined with other paths to act effectively. On its own, it's not much of a combatant, and it's specifically noted it can be dealt with through simple physical attacks, which it cannot absorb. This weakness doesn't actually entirely go away when we're talking about entirely stated during the fight with Naruto and Sasuke that the Predapath cannot be used simultaneously with other jutsu, meaning that in order to attack Nagato or Obito would deactivate the Predapath and leave them vulnerable. It's not a defense they'd be able to maintain. The Warlords, meanwhile, actually fare even better than the Espada against the Predapath and do not need to rely on these workarounds. This is because Zora has shown that it's possible to resist abilities that drain Haki, having done so with Enma. Most of the Warlords should be likely capable of replicating this resistance, at least to some extent, and even if not, have the means to work around the Predapath. Specifically, abilities like Law's spatial cutting should be able to circumvent it entirely. Is this true, Kyle?
Law's room is weird.
I remember Shambles vaguely, but I remember it being something that I'm pretty sure he's able to control things within the space and move them around.
He can control whatever he wants because that's why he also has the sword. Because when he cuts you, he can like move different parts of your body around, reattach them however he chooses.
Is that literally where the inspiration for the domains came from? Was Law's fucking space?
I have no idea.
Pretty much the exact same ability. What's he saying in the background?
Mumble, 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 mumble.
Oh, yeah, it sounds about right. Wait, so this whole G1 blog is just verse equalization? I don't think it's the whole one, but in this conclusion, you absolutely have to. This is one of the reasons people don't like using the Rinnegan abilities, or the reason they like using the Rinnegan abilities in Naruto, because they just verse equalize. Because if you don't use that, then the only thing that the Predapath is capable of absorbing is specifically mental and physical energy after it's been converted into an element. Actually, I literally had a conversation with this about how chakra worked as an energy system and went and grabbed like all the scans from the Naruto manga to explain this. I had like 2 to 3 dozen different scans to explain how chakra is emitted outside the body and how stamina is converted into chakra with changes in form and nature. And all of that explains the exact reason why you can't use verse equalization. I mean, verse equalization in general is stupid. You're literally committing a and a false dichotomy by like comparing two things that don't have any business being compared and equivocating them when it is illogical. Haki, spiritual pressure chakra equals spiritual power system to them. Yep. They just think it's all the same thing. And I'm like, I'm just going to ignore the fact that there are specific chakra techniques that rip out people's souls. And then there are certain ones that don't. So it's very clear that chakra doesn't interact with the soul consistently. The domain ability in JJK came from Japanese RPG games. I see. I don't know where it came from. I was just assuming that. Lastly, in regards to the outer path, the black receiver's paralysis is child play for the Espada, as Ichigo was able to break out of paralysis Kido in Chapter 1 before even awakening his powers. Demon statue chains are even more powerful than the black receivers, but would run into similar issues on top of the AP gap. And though Pain and Obito's ability to corpse bodies and even revive the dead entirely are impressive, allowing the options to restore deceased Akatsuki members.
I'm very sure it takes a while to come back.
You might need to scroll down a little. Yes. Specifically, Akatsuki members. No, hang on. Although Pain/Obito's ability to control corpse bodies and to revive the dead entirely are impressive, allowing them the options to restore deceased Akatsuki members, Sayalabro can make clones of people with their same abilities, and Aranyoto can give the powers of dead hollows by consuming a similar option to maintain the aid of their dead team, fewer drawbacks. You wouldn't be able to bring them back because the Akatsuki would, or the Espada would just rip out their souls. Even if you think the verse equalization makes the energy system the same, they would just rip out your soul. Because like you're admitting, you're saying they're verse equalization, but you're admitting that the human path exclusively has the ability to rip out the soul. So like even if you believe the energy systems interact the same way, only one of them can actually rip out souls. Every member of the Espada can rip out your soul.
I see. Downplay.
But what was it? On the other hand, assuming no One Piece member has shown resistance to paralysis, amusingly, no One Piece member has shown resistance to paralysis. While some characters have sporadic abilities, such as Reza, for example, they have never been resisted explicitly and are not Devil Fruit based. Parentheses, Razzo is above Mihawk via paralysis. You can't prove otherwise. That said, the receivers can't be... I'm sorry, what did you say?
No, he didn't say anything. Carry on.
Okay, good. I thought I heard something. That said, the receivers can still be countered through armament hockey, preventing them from piercing in the first place. Rene Rebirth and Corpse Control are countered via the Warlords having an equivalent in Moira's Fruit, which does not kill the user in the same way as Rene Rebirth and can be commanded via a large number of the black receivers. Did they understand that, like, this is not how you actually explain the breakdown of abilities? You don't counter abilities with the exact same fucking ability. You counter them with abilities that shut off those abilities, or abilities that are so versatile they just completely negate the ability for you to use your powers meaningfully. So here's a good example. G1, pay attention to this. Let's say I have a character that tries to approach the Akatsuki and tries to attack them from the air. Datara would now just drop bombs. You know what Datara's not doing? Manipulating gravity to pull them out of the air. He doesn't have to do that. He just drops a fucking bomb on them. That's just general tactics.
Hold on, Melissa.
Like, do you not know how an actual fight works?
I thought we weren't going through all the powers and abilities for the different characters.
We're not. We're gonna skip ahead. It's just that I wanted to see what they were gonna say for like the counters back and forth. Because so originally I thought this was just summaries of abilities, but it's not. This is where their verdict is for why certain abilities don't work against others. So we'll only cover a few abilities, not all of them, because otherwise
I think the only ones that matter are Itachi's, Obito's, and Pain's.
All right. So the last one for Pain would be that Crocodile and Don Flamingo can effectively get rid of his inorganic objects by turning them into sand or string.
Yeah. That's a Pain would all die just from being near Crocodile or Don Flamingo, funnily enough.
Alright, Itachi.
Despite the Rinnegan being an evolution of the Sharingan considerably more trouble some for the other two teams in this matchup. No, it isn't, but I'd love to see you lie about it. On a basic level, Bleach characters with the spiritual awareness possess resistances to mental effects. This includes mind control, simple illusions, memory modification, all standard functions of the Sharingan would largely spot it. Though through mind reading, which the Sharingan is all demonstrated on rare occasions, it would be more effective, while certain hollows such as Grand Fisher have shown mind reading in Bleach, no one has ever resisted it. So that's not really how that works. Again, verse equalization aside, the Espada and the characters, as people like to believe, are not literally just souls. They're a Konpaku. It's a container for the soul. You are not looking at their soul. You are looking at a reishi armored body that is around their soul. You have to get past that to touch their fucking soul and their mind.
So why is it whenever they just get cut in their basic armor form, they die?
What are they being cut by?
So then, as long as you can do damage to their body or their form, it's fine. Then that would count. As
What
killing
are
them.
they being cut by? By
A
soul
sword.
reapers with Zompok toes, which are made of spiritual energy.
So
They're
then-
not soul. They literally clarify when Ichigo turns into a soul reaper for the first time that like you wouldn't be able to affect him if you didn't have a Zompok toe. You can't even
Suspicious.
kill them.
Suspicious. Also, when have the Espada proven resistance to all those like mind manipulation abilities?
As far as like mind control and simple illusions and memory models, and I don't know where it came to that conclusion. A better argument would just be that due to their physiology, it wouldn't reach them in the first place. But my position would be, where are they coming to the conclusion that the Sharingan enacts mind reading? Where has that ever been stated? I recently read the manga again. That's never happened.
Maybe it's in the book.
Not a single time.
Maybe it's in a book.
I read like half the light novels. Maybe I gotta read the other half.
Oh, so maybe it's in the other half then.
It's not in the Itachi light novels, that's for certain. But
have resistance to Conqueror's Haki, which is light mind hacks. They should also be comparable to Luffy, who's able to resist Mon and sleep manipulation and absorb more of your soul.
It's literally not mind hacks. It's literally willpower manipulation.
normally drive someone insane, subject them to mental control. The best case for them resisting former other forms of mind hacks hypothetically negate various devil fruit forms. Spheros Goro Goro no Mi accounts for mind reading. Brooks Yomi Yomi accounts for.
You shit me? Use the English fruit names!
I was going to say, these are fucking stupid. Just use the actual names. An's Devil Fruit also produces illusions. Pudding's Devil Fruit and Kuma's Devil Fruit account for migration and modification. Uda's Devil Fruit is planetary mind
I
hacks.
erase when Ace comes back and they say, oh, he uses the Maranomi.
I hate these fuckers with their constant religious worship of the Japanese language. Dude, just say the English one.
Wait. Why are we using Uta?
Maybe on so the planetary
Wait,
mind
which
hacks
is
maybe
this?
even beyond the potency of something like Tsukuyomi, though in fairness in that case everybody counted that Aki alone.
Wait, Uta. Luffy's friend from the fucking movie?
Yeah, that's a movie feed. That's not even fucking in the series.
That said, Uda's side, the stronger mind hacks demonstrated in Naruto is simply more impressive than practically anything in Bleach or One Piece, with Itachi and Obito's stronger.
Wait, why does One Piece get
more
fucking
layered?
movie feats then, and the other two don't?
Shut up.
It's being significantly more layered compared to like Sakanata or Kyoga Suigetsu. Oh, explain.
No.
For example-
I want to clear this up. Has greater mind hacks? Yeah, and everyone on the island was fucking affected.
For example, one of the more notable illusion resistance feats in Bleach involves Aizen adapting to Sakanata's Shikai, which reverses a sense of direction. The sort of adaptation is something that even Part 1 Kabuto has shown in Naruto, and a much stronger Sage Kabuto was later helpless. No, he fucking didn't. Kabuto didn't adapt to anything in that fight with Naruto. Is he comparing Kabuto using medical ninjutsu on his torso after it got turned into shreds by the Rasengan and being like, yeah, this is the same thing Aizen activating Kyoga Suigetsu on a guy that was already under the illusion?
I do find it interesting that they're really going to say that it's stronger than Aizen's Kyogo Suigetsu.
Where are you coming to the conclusion that Kyoga Suigetsu is a higher form of hack than Sakanata? He didn't cancel out Sakanata. Shinji was already under Kyoga Suigetsu. He was already under the ritual. Like, what the fuck?
Wasn't Aizen though affected by the bong? Wasn't he affected by the Shikai?
Yes,
Yeah.
he was. He literally gets cut by it. So, like, no, he didn't. If you can,
Oh, hang on, Kyle.
All of the current captains are affected by Kyoga Suigetsu.
all the Vizards too. Literally everybody is. That's the only reason his.
Kyle, good news. We got a Bleach filler arc feat. So Bleach has gained some filler shit. Let's go.
No. The only reason they're including it is the 1,000-Year Blood War arc, because the 1,000-Year Blood War arc references the this fight.
Which
Similarly, I'll explain it. Similarly, Byakuya Kushiki has a feat in one of the Bleach filler arcs where his Zanpakuto, Senbon Zakura, helps him to navigate a fight against an illusion user by acting as his eyes and ears. This is similar to how the Biju and Naruto counter Genjutsu by acting independently of their Jinchuriki. However, Obito's Genjutsu is able to completely subjugate perfect Jinchuriki Yagura in spite of the similar workaround, proving that his Genjutsu is too powerful to be overcome in a similar. That's to say nothing about options like Tsukuyomi or Kodomatsu Kami, which are vastly more powerful and have applications that could not be counted in a manner to begin. So, the fight that it would be referring to would be the Zanpakuto arc, where he fights Koga. That is actually referenced when he fights Asnot. Asnot mentions all the battles that he's been fought up till this point, and you literally see a flashback where he fights Koga.
Oh, Mangler, you're gonna love this next paragraph.
But to let me explain something. Tsukuyomi and Kodomatsu Kami are not layered hacks because they're stronger than like Obito's like Genjutsu. We don't know the reason why Obito's Genjutsu is able to work on Yagura. It's never explained. It just happens for the purposes of the story that he's just controlled. And we're told he's a perfect Jinchuriki in like passing at 5 Kage Summit. That's the only thing we're told about. And then we're shown in a flashback later that he's under the control of Obito. We don't know how that happened. It happens completely off panel. We are not given the context or the circumstances for it, nor are we given the actual.
When you're so
jutsu
much of
that
a
he did.
tyrant that when you're under somebody else's control and being cruel, it doesn't seem any different.
Well, technically speaking, the reason why people consider Yagura a tyrant is mostly because technically he did do. I think he did turn the Blood Mist Village into the Blood Mist Village before they.
Okay,
But either way,
the Water Mist Village.
well, so either way, it doesn't matter because you don't actually have a statement of it overpowering like Yagura. We don't know how that feat happens. In the case of Tsukuyomi and Kodomatsu Kami, they're just considered the most powerful because of their range of application. Tsukuyomi doesn't work like a layered mind hacks. Tsukuyomi is basically mental law manipulation. When you cast it on someone, you create a space inside their mind where you control the entire space. You control all time, all space, and even like gravity and matter in the space. So you control how the person perceives it and the reality in which they're in it. So it's not a higher mind hacks. You just control so many aspects of the space they can't break out. Kodomatsu Kami doesn't work like that. Kodomatsu Kami is an ability that affects your morality because it puts a command into your body and your mind that forces you to command it against your will. But because of how it works, because it targets your morality specifically, it gaslights you into believing that you want to do the thing in question. So you don't even recognize that you're performing that command. You think it's all your own desire. That's not a layered hacks. That's just a different type of mind hacks.
Okay, so
Anyway, we can continue.
Say in Can't Fear Your Own World, I guess it's confirmed that Kyogo Suigetsu is dog shit because you can break out of it with enough Reiatsu. All right, cool.
So there are a few avenues you can argue this fighter wouldn't be able to wouldn't be completely obvious. Can't Fear Your Own World is established. Reiatsu much greater than that of Caster. Be possible to break free in the effects of Kyogo Suigetsu as is shown against Tokinada's copied version. Now Kyogo Suigetsu isn't as layered as Genjutsu, but it does provide a significant power gap of Reiatsu can power illusionary abilities. It's not that it power nulls illusion, it power nulls Reiatsu abilities. Because what Kyoga Suigetsu does is it activates and it sends out Aizen's spiritual particles into the air around you. The reason it affects you is because your Konpaku isn't dense enough, aka you don't have enough spiritual pressure. That's why people get affected by abilities. If someone had more spiritual pressure than him, then the ability wouldn't work. Unless, of course, you're already under the illusion.
Maybe Madara would be Aizen.
No, he wouldn't fucking.
Alright, so
Okay, so
we can just continue.
they basically said, with this in mind, outside of the possible former of which the lapse is in an... Oh, you skipped it.
Well, I was gonna say, well, I mean, like, there's not really much to say here. They're basically saying that the Espada can resist and suppress Genjutsu if they have enough Reiatsu.
So, Baragon might be able to counter an illusion by aging it to a completion, even though something like Tsukuyomi, based on the fact that it can age Kido. Though this wouldn't work on Izanami and Kotomatsukami. Both of those last indefinitely, the former until a specific condition is met, and the latter outright forever. No. Both of those last until a specific condition is met. If they cast Kotomatsukami on him, he specifically needs to follow whatever that command is. So depending on that command, if he compels it to do that, like, it would just fulfill its purpose. Izanami has a loophole, but technically less theoretically. The Warlords fare worse. On their end, Tsukuyomi lacks a direct counter outside of trying and most likely failing to suppress it with Aki, though it is worth noting that Kumo's ability to extract pain from others could mitigate the torturous agony that Itachi can inflict. Zoro is able to withstand Luffy's pain. Could be seen as evidence that One Piece characters have extraordinary pain tolerance. That said, if Itachi performs a 70-year Tsukuyomi, any of the world would die, provided they're unable to escape it. Itachi would die if he activated that. So half the reason why Itachi dies later in the series, as you find out in the novel, is because he activated Tsukuyomi multiple times in one night, and when he did that to his childhood friend, to his girlfriend, he put an enormous mental burden on his body. Aside from the psychological damage he was experiencing, it took an enormous amount of his chakra and shortened his life.
Wait.
So, yes, if he activates a large-scale Tsukuyomi like that, it will either kill him or will put him at the end of the Sasuke fight. He will be barely fucking alive.
Wait,
He can
so
activate small-scale Tsukuyomis, but not like big ones. No, he would literally be like a corpse. Because after he hits Kakashi with a small-scale one and Sasuke with a small-scale one, he points out that he is, like, in the manga, that he is breathing heavily just from using that. Like, he has to flee, and he is not. He's like a wreck after like a basic Tsukuyomi. You think that man can survive putting you in a 70-year Tsukuyomi? No, fuck that.
So all I'm hearing is that he's a Gojo victim?
I mean, he'd probably be able to affect Gojo with Tsukuyomi, but like that's only if you believe the verse equalization.
I already said it.
Yeah, I already said it. Yeah. Let's. Hang on, you skipped a few chapters.
It's just basically talking about fucking Genjutsu and sharing how they can't counter it.
Wait. Well, hold up.
Yes,
hold up.
exactly.
What is this? Sharingan ability. Sharingan ability copy jutsu would potentially work on some bleach techniques thanks to verse equalization, but a majority of the special abilities are reliant on specific physiological factors that Itachi and Obito would not be able to replicate due to having different physiology. In the same sense, the Sharingan cannot copy Gekkei Genkai if they cannot replicate those traits.
How much of this is genuinely the fucking... Okay, so, alright, so it gets two Izanamis, ultimately would still die. Sharingan's copy ability could work on bleach techniques thanks to verse equalization.
Just explain that.
Okay.
But, additionally, the Sharingan's ability to perceive spiritual energy would also be soft countered by Sonito, which can bypass... skipped again, but whatever. Bypasses their sensing abilities. Amaterasu's sun level heat is absurd and could possibly one-shot some of the weaker Espada who lack sufficient heat resistance feats, but the four Espadas who are currently still alive should be compared to Roidloid.
Good luck touching them with it.
They're not going to touch him with it, but it was blued allowed him to resist the 15 million degrees Celsius heat emissions of Yamamoto's Bankai, which is more than sufficient enough to withstand Amaterasu. Meanwhile, warlords like Crocodile stand Akainu's magma, which has been calculated to reach temperatures of 9,000 degrees Celsius. Not as hot as Yamamoto, but still hotter than Amaterasu. Why would you conclude it's 9,000 degrees Celsius if it's magma?
Well, no. This one's perfectly fair because the feats displayed by the elemental users in One Piece far exceed what the normal element
What feats does the magma fruit have?
That's a good question actually, because they don't link it. Because I'm assuming it has to do with melting the ice at a speed. I'm assuming. I don't know what the feat here is in question, but this.
I would not. I would not take that position. Magma is consistently only anywhere from like 1200 to like 1800 degrees Celsius. You're literally claiming it's like 4 or 5 times hotter exponentially. I would need like a specific.
That
No,
does not seem like an issue to me. I mean,
I would need I need a specific statement at that's just an ass pull. If you don't have like actual quantification.
I mean, we're talking about a character whose magma was so hot it drastically changed the landscape and weather of a location that didn't have a volcano before, just be a constant lava pit.
Do you understand how fast like magma and lava like burns things?
I'm just saying. I'm pretty sure there's a calc that works.
Yeah, because he has so much magma, it can affect an entire island. That has nothing to do with the temperature. That's the volume of magma.
You give me a few volcanoes that turn an island into a straight fucking.
Yeah, because they don't have that much magma spewing out at that speed. It's not the temperature. It's not a concession. You're just an idiot.
Concession accepted. But okay, so Totsuka Blade.
Oh boy.
Penetrate the Espada. The Yada Mirror. But it would be an Elements Fallacy to assume it can counter any attack.
Wait, what about the Preta Path being able to absorb literally anything though?
Nope.
Was that not an Elements Fallacy?
That's not Elements Fallacy.
Oh, okay.
Very direct counter to the Espada. Reiatsu was able to inflict wounds that could not be immediately undone by Odahime's Phenomenon Rejection. Okay, so they can counter Izanagi? But the Warlords, I'm assuming, don't have it. Yeah, okay. Okay, so Itachi would solo everyone in this run, but would lose.
Why do people keep bringing up the spiritual pressure of Ukiura stopping the Reiatsu thing when, like, that doesn't stop her from rejecting it? What?
Okay. Do you want to quickly clarify what's wrong there?
Okay. So, Odahime explains in the Bleach story that the specific way that she rejects something is that her abilities are based on her own will and her commitment to do something. So if you've broken her psychologically, then her powers don't work effectively. Like when, I don't know, you kill her boyfriend in front of her by blowing a hole in her chest, and she's running towards him with tears streaming out of her eyes as she was doing. She's not in the mental state where her powers work effectively. Putting that off of the fact that how her abilities work is that she specifically has to reject the spiritual pressure around the wound in order to do that. But that's also dependent on her will. So she has to force it out. It's not like we don't have like an approximate amount of power that it works with. That would have nothing to do with Izanami.
Okay.
But
so Obito, Kamui, just teleporting will prove ineffective. Espada can all use Discord to travel between dimensions. It could just leave. Strong enough Haki would just resist the ability according to them. I thought he wasn't intangible. I thought his ability was just to like make specific parts of his body intangible with his.
It's only to make specific parts of his body intangible because he teleports specific portions of himself into the Kamui dimension. So
I was gonna say that's not even like technically true.
All right, so just wrong information.
He's not like the Flash. He's not like walking around phase shifting through reality every like 2 seconds.
Yeah, I explained this to you earlier, Zim.
No, that's why. Like that's why I wanted to make sure a second time because I thought they would have said it's not intangibility. Also, Neil, I saw your message. Hang on, Daryl. Delphoid Awakening shown to turn the environment to the same property of Delphoid user. Yes. Preta Path. Strong individuals can break through wood constructs with a chakra suppressed.
Unless you're a Zoan, and then that gets kind of weird.
We're gonna skip Orochimaru because I don't think he really does anything at this point.
We can skip the rest of the shit. Go to One Piece.
Bruh. There's not too much else to say here with the other Akatsuki, unfortunately. Oh, hang on. Teamwork. The Akatsuki
oh my fucking god! Poke you with a fucking stick. Move.
The Akatsuki have overall the best teamwork of the 3. They fought together on a more consistent basis and can combo together.
We covered this already. Move on.
Hang on, I want to see what they say.
We fucking covered this. We know what they said.
Quit your bitching. We're getting
Move.
advantages. Oh well, if they have advantages, we might just skip to the very advantages section because these guys fluff this up way too much. Best teamwork, Genjutsu Outlayers, the Mind Hacks, Itachi, One Shot, Obito, anything here? Yeah, Kisame, Dangerous Warlords. I don't know about the Orochimaru's poison working on Warlords if you believe the whole fucking hockey negates everything shenanigans. Okay.
Well, actually, I think where they would sit for that one is because, like, even though Luffy has haki, he was still affected by Caesar Clown being able to poison him with oxygen.
But that's because he was. That's because I don't think he. I don't think he was aware of it when it first hit him. The second time he handles it a lot better, but that's fine. Okay.
You know, he handles it a lot better by not letting Caesar Clown touch him. Period. Yes, he did handle that way better.
All right, Warlords. 200 yacht, tons of TNT. Valid. Buggy wouldn't scale. Okay. Nor would Moria and possibly Don Flamingo?
My ass. What do you mean, Moria doesn't
Bro,
scale?
I understand if they're going to go with the logic that Buggy wouldn't. Probably pretty silly considering he's still narrative would put up there.
I'm going to kibosh that right away, Mangler. He does scale because currently he has both Crocodile and Mihawk under his control.
You know that's a terrible argument.
Maxwell's him with that.
No, it's not. He's above them.
But what's the fucking argument for Moria not scaling?
What's the argument for Don Flamingo not scaling?
I was gonna say he literally. I know we're definitely more than a few arcs removed from Dressrosa, but like he's literally the first person to fight like Gear 5 Luffy. He's like the first one to fight Luffy. No,
Gear 4, and he basically got like one tap by it.
Yeah, but I'm saying still like he still fights like the strongest version of Luffy we've seen at like the beginning of post the time skip, and you're gonna argue he doesn't scale to some of these things later. Fucking stupid. There's fucking Mihawk over here who just the entire anime and doesn't do shit, but then scales to everybody.
Hold on. I know you're not disrespecting the strongest swordsman to ever live.
No, I am gonna disrespect him because he has absolutely no fucking feats, but then they're like, oh yeah, he's still the strongest swordsman. I'm like, bro.
How dare you? That being said, regarding Dofi, Don Flamingo's in a weird position. All joking aside for a minute, because Don Flamingo should be on par with the other warlords, and yet he's concerned about Jack. That just seems like bullshit, honestly, but whatever. But I'm glad Crocodile scales. I'm glad they acknowledge the goat scales.
He's at least on par with the admirals. He still deals with like fucking Fujitori's meteors.
No, if you believe he's on par with the admirals, then Don Flamingo would be like Yonko level, so that wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, like this is where One Piece scaling gets really, really fucked because
I understand that. I don't believe the admirals are 1-to-1 with the Yonko. I never believe that.
Okay, well you can just be wrong then.
Well, because this is where it's like
I'll fight you.
The admiral. You
want me to go through One Piece? And we want to test that theory?
Yeah, but Mangler, the problem is that like you have things like Moria being able to fight Kaido and like survive, but he's still weaker than like the admirals.
I'm just gonna say that Kizaru had
See
no
the fight?
problems going to 2v1 Big Mom and Kaido and move on. That's what I'm gonna say, and that's how I'm gonna move on.
Hey, do you think depending on how I take Fisher Tiger's backstory, I can argue that
No, bad Kyle.
that Arlong scales?
Speaking of threatening Yonko, Whitebeard was Quakes being
Still
able to
beat
destroy the
40
world.
Jones.
No. Domi's gonna blow up the planet. It is stated repeatedly during Marineford as Quakes can reach planetary range. If the world were still here tomorrow, meaning it'd be a long-term over time affair for Whitebeard to sink the world. Yeah, no, that doesn't mean it'd be a long-term. It just means if the world's there, like by the time they're done, like the day after. It's not a time frame reference.
This is also if you're assuming One Piece world is just kind of like a normal-sized planet.
Oh no. They are calculating this under the position that the One Piece world is like what? Well, did they give a number, Kyle? They just said it was way bigger than Earth, right?
Oh, like was it like 1 million or 1 billion kilometers in diameter?
Yeah, something like that.
They basically made it under their own assumption. They basically made it bigger than Toriko's planet.
Based.
What?
Based.
If it's bigger than Toriko's planet, then how? Wrong. But if it's bigger than Toriko's planet, how the fuck are they? Wait. Do they have them at Planetary for One Piece?
Not quite, no. Mainly just multicon. This is just an assumption Akino and Kiji might turn the lights using their awakening. Logias have not proven any awakenings yet. You'd have to first prove an awakening of a Logia type user.
Oh, that's stupid at that point. They should be at least moon level. These people don't know how math works, except when they want it to work.
Right. Alright, so we'll just move on here. Basically, they're stronger than every Akatsuki member. Valid.
Always was.
These characters have been FTL since Skypiea, where it was stated twice that lightspeed reactions were needed to dodge Enel's lightning. Wait,
what?
so then why the fuck are...
Wait, is that true? Wait, what chapter's that?
Alright, so while Kyle's weighing himself over there,
So you have a source that you did?
No,
I need
to
to
know.
meet on that one. Well, go ahead.
No, I'm just tripping out because if we're okay
Unless
saying
we
they
reckon
were
we can
FTL
use
at
dodge
Skypiea,
and we're lightning.
where the fuck was this lightspeed earlier? Also, I like how they say that that Kuma's hands were moving 40 times FTL, but fucking Zoro dodging the laser mid blast or mid distance wasn't
Hang on,
FTL.
I need to get to the bottom of this.
Maybe you understand that Kisame's water is literally thousands of times faster because it could just fill up a canyon.
All right, so 4820, 1200 to 6200 FTL based on slicing the meteor. Arsenal and abilities. Not really much to go over here. Most of these guys.
Oh, it's an FPS.
Yo, source? Yo, can you shoot that over real quickly?
Yeah, son. Hold on.
Does that mean Enel? So that means Enel's lightning would be faster than regular lightning then, based.
That means he's firing fucking light.
Okay, so this one's kind of interesting for
Well,
Boa.
I guess that would explain how he got to the moon.
The moon.
Yeah, I'll send it in the group chat.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, light takes about a second to get.
Yeah, check that out, Zim.
Okay, hang on. What should I do if Enru shoots his lightning at me? First, duck at the speed of light.
Is that in the anime or the manga?
No,
That's the SBS.
That is an author statement. So, at the end of like certain manga chapters, the author will answer questions.
So
At the end-
manga, got
it's at the end of volumes.
Yeah, manga, got it. Thank you.
Well, it's not
That works
technically-
too.
It's not technically.
It is
manga.
in the manga if it's in the volume. You fuck. He
Okay.
included it
So-
in the book. It's in the manga.
Okay, so would
I mean, that's-
people
I mean,
be
that-
attracted
that's
to
just-
Boa?
I mean, that's just severely based because I always had them at light speed from like the arc after. Wait, depending on how fucked you want to do some kind of like rudimentary backscaling, wouldn't that also go to well, it wouldn't go to Bellamy. It would definitely go to Crocodile, wouldn't it?
Yes.
During the Alabaster.
Yeah, I think it should,
Mangler,
'cause he reacts-
the inspiration for domains was the territory of the psychics from Chakra.
Warlords don't work together, but they don't work against each other. Like, if you were to put the warlords on a team to fight someone, they wouldn't have synergy, but they wouldn't be overtly, like, killing their teammates. Which is more...
No, they just take turns. They would take turns jumping them, and they wouldn't be trying to kill each other. And that's still a nightmare scenario for.
Okay, so very briefly, this is a part that you can actually talk about Mangler a little more since you're like the Bleach guy. Reihatsu overcoming transmutation. They say it's never been shown to. Any thoughts on that?
The thing you can argue is Grimmy being able to turn people's buttons into cookies. Transmutation specifically? I don't believe so, but Grimmy's isn't, that would not be a fair example to use. Because Grimmy's not using transmutation. Grimmy is using subjective reality. Because Grimmy's ability is the visionary. It's the ability, his imagination and fantasy into reality. So he just changes reality fundamentally to whatever he wants from the inside of his mind. That's not the same thing as like transmuting, like changing the matter or to another object.
Okay, so then you're saying, at least at the current moment, Bleach has no counters to petrification that you can think of.
It has not shown any resistance to petrification.
All right, Kuma.
Well, I'm gonna ask a base question. Can you prove any of the Espada gets sexually aroused?
I'm gonna say Ulquiorra, yes.
Bro, it shows the worst one.
Ulquiorra was absolutely after Orihime. That shit is valid. 100%.
Spent the entire arc just being like, why do you keep harassing big woman? What is this heart you speak of? I'm a nihilist.
Everyone saw those fucking spots.
Would I find it if I was to split your skull? Would I find it?
Bro, let me be clear. Yami is only interested in killing people like a belligerent. Noitora might, but he also just hates women so much. I don't think he can be physically turned on by them. He's probably just a closeted like gay person, most likely.
Okay,
he's so fucking.
All joking aside, Boa can turn people to stone with her arrows. So you would. Just
good luck. Good luck assuming that can even like hit them, or that it would interact with their Kobaku.
Mangler, remember?
Carry on.
1,000 times faster than
that is an oddly specific number.
Tim, I'll tell you this right now. It's definitely not going to be Xyalopro. He swallows. Mangler gets that for how he does his resurrection.
Xyalopro is not interested in anyone unless you tell him it's for science. Then he will pretend to be interested in everyone. Aniniero is interested in everyone because he eats them. So if he is sexually aroused by because you're Zomari only cares about worshipping Aizen, basically like a Zen fucking Buddhist living in Hueco Mundo. Grimmjow is turned on by murder. Ulquiorra is a nihilist. Hollybell's just kind of like a normal person by comparison, but we don't even know if she's attracted to dudes. Definitely not to like women. Baragon has never shown any interest in anything, and Stark is too lazy to be attracted to anything.
Okay. Kuma...
Stark is basically too busy looking after his basically daughter and also like his other half of his soul.
His adolescent soul.
Alright, so Kuma, BFRs, damage reflection, but attacks might be too varied to deal with. Moria...
I would not call Kuma's attack BFR. I would just say that it's force manipulation.
I mean, that's
because he's not really.
That's still effectively BFR,
because he's not teleporting you anywhere. He's just blasting you to the other side of the planet.
Yeah, but it doesn't carry the same like momentum as it does for like other fucking movements. So you would assume there's special properties there.
MVP, yes and no. It is worth noting that a petrification is reliant on projectiles and physical attack for the data path of interfering with projectiles. Zoning with flight and ranged attacks is also a decent answer as far as the Espada are concerned. While Boa's pulse can affect a large number of people at once, these are attraction-based. Projectiles would have a more limited range and give other teams more time to adapt. Wait, is this scenario just assuming that like every team just shows up at the same location via a random uninvited side to?
Probably. I don't know what Mingler said, but probably. Moria would just be zombie hordes and some shadow manipulation, but just not effective
Wait,
enough.
would you even give him the zombies, or would you just look at that as like prep time?
Technically, it would fall more into prep time, but I mean, I can understand the logic of giving him the zombies. I'm just not sure if I would necessarily agree with
Well,
it.
if that's the case, like, where does it stop? Is it just like general like zombies, or do you get to give him like ores?
Island of Thriller Bark.
I mean, I guess you could give him the whole Island of Thriller Bark. I don't really see where that be an issue per se.
I was joking, but that would be really funny if they did that.
No. It's
My
fine.
arsenal is my entire country.
My arsenal is this little girl that I adopted who makes ghosts, this pervert, and this pervert doctor.
I don't know. We're talking a lot of shit there. That
All-
sounds like a pretty good team.
All of the people who died for me, both in favor of their own will and against loyal
This pervert
subjects altogether.
This pervert who has a leopard's face is my best friend, and this also pervert doctor is such a good friend that he rescued me from Marineford.
Okay, so I guess we're talking about Law here.
Yeah. I mean, Law's ability is just like, just everything for the most part. The whole point of his like.
Law is so being a devil fruit, he's only supposed to have one power, but I think like when you go through what Law can do, he fucking has like 5 or 6 different abilities.
I think it's because the ability falls under him controlling space. And they're like, well, that's what the actual power is. And it's like, okay, so you just cheated and gave him like.
So I'm glad you said that, Mangler. Now explain Gamma Knife.
No. See, this is where you guys are both wrong. Law's power isn't the ability to control space. Law's power.
I never said it. I never said it was.
Oh,
I
so
said it
it's
was
not-
to control. I said it was to control a space.
No, that's
let's
not
be very
correct
clear
either.
here.
What is it?
Very clear here.
His
I was gonna
devil
say-
fruit is a surgery room. His power is to be a complete surgery room.
Yeah, that's the space.
That's not a space because he can still do gamma
Yes, it
knife and
is.
shit. No, because he can perform gamma. He can do other attacks that don't need a devil fruit to be active.
You're both
Am
wrong.
I the only one?
No, you're both wrong. His ability is the power of divorce. Because if he ever dies, Oda's wife will leave him.
That's also true. But I refuse to accept it. But yeah, no. Basically, he can just do fucking everything, I guess, within a space. Except maybe age you to death. Maybe. I don't really think there's anything really to say here. Mangler, you know the Espada and the Espada. Any resistances to Law's bullshit?
Hang on. I go up to the top again so I can see the first paragraph about teleportation. Okay, first up, teleportation. Well, it can't be a far same reason Kuma can't. His teleports are localized and are excellent for battle paired with telekinesis. Diva Path's a decent equivalent to the latter. Akatsuki have no direct equivalent to the former with Kuma. Commonly, for example, having instant startup time. However, it's worth noting that Law can't teleport anyone whose spiritual energy is so strong that could apply to Spada. What the fuck is this about Kamui having instant startup time? Because it's been countered. It's been countered by literally everyone from Minato, who is being sucked into it for a full 2 seconds and then teleports. Conan, who blew it up with bombs. The random dude from the Foundation with the fucking poison. Literally everybody is counter Kamui. It's one of the most counterable abilities in the series. You just need to have some decent abilities.
Kamui can counter Kamui.
Yeah, that's how bad it is.
Disrespectful, but alright.
Anyway, speaking of which, the Espada should be able to resist spatial cutting from opponents weaker than them, scaling the Danga. I can see the rest of this. Okay, there. To against Of course, that version of Ichigo is much stronger than the Espada, but Law is a lot weaker than Aizen. The Espada are a lot stronger than Raw, so the Ryotsu should be able to resist his cuts. A better argument would just be like looking at the various Kitos in the series, I guess. So what you would argue specifically is that due to their spiritual pressure, they could just resist the Kitos. And Kurihitsugi can be casted technically by anyone who can learn to utilize it. They just wouldn't be able to use the full incantation with that, or they wouldn't be able to utilize its full powers without the incantation. Yeah, that you could still break Kurihitsugi with no spiritual pressure.
What the fuck were you
fine.
Googling?
Nothing. I wasn't Googling anything.
Fuck you, I saw you Googling. Kiss my ass.
Let's see. The same cannot be said for the Akatsuki, who have absolutely no such.
This is what time it is.
Even Madara, fucking you cannot touch me Uchiha with the entire 10 tails inside him was safe to say none of the Akatsuki. What is this Madara wank? Madara has like less hacks than like most of the Akatsuki.
Nope, I don't believe it.
Organ destruction, heart removal is another case where the Akatsuki, the Espada neg it, and the Akatsuki might have more trouble. Ryotsu can repel attacks to the organs, thanks, Soy Phone. For the Akatsuki, Obito survived impalement badly. Kid Naruto was able to survive the gentle fist attacks with target organs, so the rest of the should have. But then you have things like Kakuzu being fucked up by his heart. No, that's wrong. They're illiterate and probably just lying. But I'm gonna assume they're illiterate in this case. They remembered it completely wrong. Naruto doesn't survive attacks from the gentle fist. The way the gentle fist works is that you transmute or you transmit chakra out of like the front of your fist into people's I think it's the Karyoku. It's specifically the term for chakra. You send it into the chakra network of people's bodies, and those lines are lined around the organs. So to be clear, you're not hitting the organs. You're hitting the things around the organs, which causes supplementary organ damage. And Neji makes it a point that he doesn't want to kill Naruto. When he hits him after he disables his chakra points, he actually asks the proctor to stop the fight because he doesn't want Naruto to get hurt anymore. He thinks he's already won the fight. It's not responsible for him to continue. So no, he doesn't resist that. None of the Akatsuki have resistances to that. Right. Also, they kind of just contradicted themselves with saying Kakuzu got fucked up by his heart to be destroyed. Chakra scalpel being affected due to targeting internal, but it would at least hurt pretty bad. No, it would just like disable that limb. For some of them, that is Orochimaru or Kisami's region. That's the target. Kisame doesn't have regeneration. Samehada specifically can reconvert chakra into stamina, which when touching his body regenerates him. Kisame's physical body does not actually have regeneration. Only Orochimaru does. Although that's a funny way of saying he spits out a new body. Zetsuo and Sasori are fine. Conan could probably counter by turning his body into paper. Pain isn't reliant on metabolic processes, bodies being corpses. Hidan's immortality makes it that would still disable him completely. The main one who would be inconvenienced are Itachi and Kakuzu, and a similar would work on. Well, actually, that would still work on Conan because so when Law activates like shambles and the various powers inside the surgery room, does he visually telegraph what he's doing when he swaps the hearts? Like, does he have to do like a fucking rain dance before he does it, or does he just like lift his hands and your heart's in his hand?
So he would just lift his hand, maybe have a rock in his hand or something, and then swap the places. But I don't even think he would do that.
Because he would swap it with shambles. Because he usually takes an object and changes it with the space of another object inside the surgery room. Yeah, no, Conan wouldn't be able to resist that. She wouldn't know he's going to swap her.
He can also take your soul out and put it into another person's body if he wants.
Yeah, honestly, we wouldn't need to get that far. Doc,
that's true.
He would just rip out her fucking. He would rip out her fucking heart. She wouldn't know she needs to turn into paper with the Shinigami.
Goku versus Grimjow. I'm gonna say Goku.
Grimjow,
Huh?
fucking obliterate. Better scaling.
Better
Yep.
scale. Oh, better.
Yep.
Not the time.
Better.
Not
You
the
know what?
time.
Better fighter. How about that?
Better. Don't make me
Yep.
fucking bad for Goku. Not fucking Goku of all
How
people.
about you read? How about you read some Dragon Ball once? How about you do some fire?
I'm gonna have to beat your ass later. Okay, I understand.
Okay.
If that's what it's gonna
What's for? Oh, okay. You scroll down a little bit.
take. Goofy, Blackbeard.
Sound
Oh wait, where are you?
sound canceling is hyper specific, but it's a good counter to sound. Also has a method of healing. The me is pretty useful, although it's worth mentioning we don't know. Fucking hate those devil fruit names.
We can move forward there.
Yeah, which devil fruit are they talking about?
The Lost fruit.
Oh, fucking that one has a fucking stupid name.
Oh,
All of them have a name.
All right. Okay, Blackbeard's fruits. I mean, do any of them resist like shadow or gravity manipulation? I mean, I guess they're.
As far as the Akatsuki, no. As far as the Espada, they should be able to.
Hawk. They actually called him a fucking fraud. That's insane.
Wait, hang on. What did they say? I want to see this. Might as well have painted his swords black with how little he's actually probably the strongest warlord at the moment. Sure, he's probably the strongest against any by hitting them really hard. He's good. Instance, Kamewit's Obito immune to Mihawk's singular method of attack. Take Orochimaru, for instance. Mihawk cuts his head off, and then Orochimaru just fine. Take Baragon, for instance. Mihawk swings his sword, and all of a sudden, no more sword. Okay, so for starters, I'm fairly certain Mihawk can extend his sword range to like what, a fucking mile.
Oh yeah, easy.
He doesn't. Yeah, like he doesn't. So like, even if you want to say he's like the Goku of their verse, he's got no hack. He's got a sword that can extend to a mile away. I'm pretty sure you're gonna be able to find a way to blitz Obito. Why? I don't know. Just stabbing him from behind, because he's not going to expect the sword to extend from a mile away, because swords don't do that. Orochimaru's region doesn't work like that.
Oh, Mihawk does have an on-screen feat.
So?
Everyone keeps seeming to forget that he bullied the Don Creek Pirates.
No. You forgot when he blitzed the iceberg during Marineford.
Wait. He did beat up Zoro that one time at the beginning of the series.
Okay.
Well, you know what he also did? He was also unable to kill Buggy, and that's why he bows down to Buggy now.
So wait, let me see if I understand this correctly. Almost all of his feats are him not getting kills on his opponents.
So while yes, that is true, if we're gonna be honest for a minute, remember how they mentioned the movie? The movie does have a feat for Mihawk. It's actually real.
Okay,
it exists on screen.
So you're telling me the movie did what both the anime and the manga refused to do, and consistently refused to do at that?
Yes, it has Mihawk casually outscaling a post-Dressrosa Zoro.
I mean, that was kind of expected, considering Zoro went to him for. He was always narratively going to be above Zoro.
If it makes you feel any better, because they brought up like Uta, Shanks still doesn't do anything.
So let me provide an example of what happened. So that way, fuck you. So that way we're on the same page here on this one.
I'm fucking right. What do you mean, fuck you?
So what happens in the movie is I think it's Fujitora calls in a giant meteor, or Douglas Bullet does. It's this massive meteor. It's gonna kill everybody. Zoro's like, okay, if I use my full strength, I should be able to cut it in half and save us. Mihawk grabs his sword, swings it one time, and cubes the entire meteor, and it just falls harmlessly into the sea. All right, Weevil, Buggy. Buggy is useless, bro. Actually, no. That insane. I know they're saying that he's got that Garosi shit, but come on now.
How did you fuck that up? It's Gorosei.
No. It's whatever I say it is. All right, let's continue. Teamwork. Yeah, 0.
Or it is
Although
Bahamut.
to be fair, I mean, you could argue that Buggy or not Buggy. You could argue that fucking Crocodile and Mihawk would probably have some teamwork since they're on the same team now. Whatever.
Wait, so how many members did they give for the 7 warlords? Just the 7, or did they give
There are
them more
only
than?
7 at any given time,
I
but
know.
technically there's
How
like
many in this
10.
blog?
10.
How many did they give them in this blog?
I think 10. I said 10 like 3 times.
Okay, I just thought you misheard what I said, but yeah, that's fine.
10. Yeah, 10. Oh,
Okay.
11 warlords.
Do they still have Jinbei part of this blog?
Yes, Jinbei was
Jinbei
part
is
of the
not-
blog. We just skipped him because he didn't really do anything besides beat Kisame.
Oh, so just
Oh,
like in the story.
And I guess he
so
beats. I guess he beats Harbell too.
Hang on.
All right.
Let's look at their advantages. They're stronger than the Akatsuki. Law of spatial manipulation lacks counters with the
Did
Akatsuki.
they say that Jinbei beats Harbell?
Curtails water-based attacks.
Curtails water-based attacks from Kisame and Haribel. From Kisame, yeah. Haribel, fuck no.
Yes. I'll accept
No.
it. I'll accept it.
It's not how Haribel's water works.
I accept
What?
it. All right, carry on. Continue reading it. Continue reading it since you have so much you want to say.
Moria's zombies could theoretically provide a numbers advantage. I guess they're just giving him the entirety. Then Kuma and Blackbeard's counter projectiles.
If they give him all of his zombies, then he also gets ores.
Boa's transmutation lacks counters from both teams. Moria's shadow severing in theory could kill anyone on the field. Logia's intangibility can phase the attacks, having resistances.
Yes, with a caveat.
Having resistance to a decent chunk of the hacks on the other team, soul manipulation, high heat, gravity manipulation. Observation hockey improves field awareness massively. Easy counters to pain and sorcery.
All right. So before Mangler gets to disadvantages, do you want to mention the caveat you claimed?
Oh, wait, yes.
Kyle
yeah.
said a caveat, so Kyle, go.
Well, what about the hockey intangibility? Not hockey.
So
Logia.
Moria can kill you if he snips your shadow, but you're also hoping that he's also hoping that it's like a sunny day, so it happens instantaneously.
Well, also, how is that technique explained? Because is that just the way shadows work in One Piece? Like, how is that?
So what you have to do is you have to physically pick up your shadow and take like shadow scissors and like cut them.
As far as I know, shadows themselves are not given like special properties. That's just a generic thing his devil fruit does by grabbing your shadow.
What I'm saying is that, like, unless I had more knowledge on that, like, I would not assume that would work out of verse. Because, like, that seems incredibly oddly specific to kill.
I mean, his powers are shadow manipulation, so it could just be death manipulation via shadow manipulation, but fair enough. All right, so weaker than the Espada, if you say so. If you say so, G1 blog. If you say so.
Subpar teamwork, lacks resistance to Orochimaru's poison. I don't know if I believe that. I feel like poison resistance is probably something One Piece characters have. Lack of resistance to Datara's C4.
Not inherently, because that's the main reason why, like, Magellan was such a big pain in the ass as the prison warden.
Yes.
Itachi's Genjutsu supersedes resistance. No, it doesn't. Many of these would struggle to deal with Kamui intangibility.
Bullshit.
I mean, no. Lack of resistances to Baragon's fair. Lose to Espada in range and mobility. Several members lack special abilities, including Mihawk, the strongest. I mean, don't most of them have special abilities?
Yes. Man.
Buggy is so powerful, we had to disqualify him.
Man, everyone's talking shit about Mihawk, but when he does shit in the manga, you're all gonna be feeling sorry. You're all gonna be like, "Damn, I shouldn't have slept on Mihawk."
It only took us like what 2,000 chapters to get there.
Look, at this point, it's a race between Mihawk, Shanks, and Dragon.
Which one of them can aura farm for the longest before they actually have to do a feat?
I don't want to hear this. All right. The Espada, take
You're
it.
all gonna feel you're all gonna feel very silly when you find out that Dragon has the East fruit.
Man, you can just tell the Bleach hate is like seeping in from this blog because like, man, Bleach, we know you wanted to win. It's like, bro, who among the Bleach fans would be if we had a choice between all the other, pick the captains or like even the fucking
I
Fullbringers?
will say I am surprised the Espada were the ones chosen. I would have thought that like it would have been the Fullbringers instead, since they're like
Or
more...
the Stern Ritters. Literally
Stern-
anybody.
The Sternminers have too many people.
Why? Why? Is it because we don't want to ignore the elephant in the room that each one of them has a different ability base, and you just don't want to have to deal with that?
The Sternritters have like 26 members. That's cheating.
I know 26 is just too high for them to count. They can only count. How many members of the Akatsuki are there? Like 12? Yeah, 12.
You fight 26 people at the same fucking time.
Well, I'm saying they have difficulty counting. I'm not saying that.
Bitch numbers, Zim. Bitch numbers. You should see me on my best days.
On your best days, you're having someone else do your work.
Also,
for
wait. Who did they give them for the Espada? Did they give them like
everyone,
all
including their 1,000-year Blood War arc forms?
No, did they give them Nelly L, the Preverone, and Wonderweiss? And Loopy?
Let's find out. We don't have to go through speed and stuff. Gonzu.
Wait. If they're gonna go down that road, then they should also get like the Doni.
Yeah, the Preverones, which would include Dordoni,
Well, that's what I'm looking
the
for.
Chad, Soruchi,
Stark, Barigon, Haribel, Nell.
Wait, they're just the Nelliel, too old as funk.
Ilkiora. This guy.
Noitora.
This guy. Hang on. Who do you mean this guy? Noritora.
Yeah.
Somari, Loopy. Okay, so they're giving them Nelliel and Loopy, the Preverones.
Zamara. Yes.
Samari. Xyalopero.
Yami.
Adenyeto.
Okay.
How are you failing these? You're fucking Spanish! These are in Spanish!
I know.
They are literally Spanish!
Mango, you have no idea how much he shits me that he can't pronounce anything.
Bro!
Listen. I can pronounce it just fine. I just can't read and pronounce it because it
Say
looks wrong.
Adenyeto.
Oh, you just can't read in general.
That is how you... Adenyeto Arueri. That is how you pronounce it.
I can't roll my R's.
Pronounce them. You're Spanish.
I can't roll my R's.
Bro, I had a speech impediment when I was like 3 years old that lasted until I was like in my 20s.
I can't.
And I can still pronounce that better.
I have a life impediment.
What do you mean you can't roll your R's? You can't do that. You can't.
Okay. Wait. Let's go down below Yami. I think.
From a guy.
You're a retard. Really gonna do that to me? Really?
Yeah, I am. Kill yourself. All right. Mangler, is there any one of these guys you want to touch on, or can we scroll down?
Wait. I just want to check to see if they have any. Oh no. Okay, so they're not giving them pre-roll. Like, we go back to the top because they included a few blog things up there above the Espada that we wanted to talk about.
Things for the powers, arsenal, and abilities, but we are not touching each individual character at this point. You can just.
Oh no, not yeah. Reiatsu.
Okay.
Here we go. Reiatsu can induce strain into an opponent, causing fear, paralysis, incapacitation of consciousness, and even death. Yami's soul with his presence alone.
You want to repeat that again real quickly?
Hang on 1 sec. Give me a moment. I'll leave and read.
All right. Well, it looks like I have another reason to kick Kyle's ass next time I see him.
All right.
What?
I'm back. So Reiatsu can induce strain into fear, paralysis, intense pressure, incapacitation, unconsciousness, and even death if the difference in power between the user and the target is great enough. In Yami's case, he was able to nearly crush Tatsuki's soul with his presence alone via Reiatsu, so it's important to discuss both mental effects and soul resistance. Starting with the Akatsuki here, Chakra is able to induce physical and psychological strain on the target somewhat similar to Reiatsu, on top of which there are a variety of things in Naruto that can be extrapolated to suggest some baseline interaction between Chakra and the soul and or soul resistance hacks, including to, but not limited to. There is nothing but Orochimaru's body soul transfer is stated to affect the soul, and Sasuke was able to resist it, eroding the effect through sheer force of will. No, that is primarily due to his chakra. And at that point, he tried to enter Sasuke's body. The version of Kurama inside Naruto's mindscape is stated to be Kurama's soul. It would still be Kurama's chakra. But like technically the soul would be included inside that. But to be clear, you're not interacting with Kurama's soul. You're interacting with chakra, because Kurama is literally just a being of chakra. Sasuke's Sharingan was able to suppress him only because the Sharingan interacts with the Nine Tails. Naruto and Killer Bee are able to battle Kurama's soul within said mindscape and withstand attacks and hits from him, which would constitute direct attacks on the soul. No, for the reasons I just mentioned. By extension, the jutsu that all the Akatsuki used to extract the tail beast would be extracting the soul, the time frame of which is proportionate to the strength of the users. No, because they're just extracting the chakra directly, and the tail beasts are just pure chakra. Stealing jutsu are explicitly stated to affect the soul in the war arc. No, they aren't, because even when you seal the actual Edo Tensei, you don't take away their soul from the Pure Lands.
Oh, hang on, we have a Kyle, would you smash Haribo question randomly? And also, Dragon would probably scale higher than Garp, but actually, maybe not young Garp. Zoro feats to upscale Mihawk? Yes. Because as long as they have a sword, they are Mihawk feats.
The data book says that the 4 symbol seal that was placed on Naruto works on evil spirits. Vague and means nothing without context. The data book says that Dan's ghost jutsu crushes the soul of the body that he inhabits. That one is only valid specifically because when he's in the Edo Tensei and he activates the ghost jutsu, as his soul is literally leaving the dead corpse, he is able to transfer his soul from the battlefield to possess Tsunade. So that one actually has validity, unlike 90% of these claims. Datara's C0 is stated in the data book to damage the soul. I have that statement. It literally is just referring to just obliterating everything in the target. So you would just be extrapolating that massively to just assume that like the statement isn't just like what's it called? Isn't just a massive hyperbole. It has no statements in the actual like manga or anime that support this.
How dare you say that? You know hyperbole only exists if it's in DMC.
Oh, yes. Orochimaru could resist the Reaper Death Seal in Part 1, though primarily soul removal was able to damage its soul. No, he was not able to resist the Reaper Death Seal. So when the Reaper Death Seal grabbed his soul, it specifically pointed out that the reason why Hiruzen wasn't able to pull his soul out is because Hiruzen physically was weak as fuck due to his old age, and that by activating things like the shadow clones at his age, he cut his chakra into small, minute amounts, and it made him incredibly weak because he exhausted all the stamina in his body. That's actually what killed him more than Orochimaru's damage. Yes, the Reaper Death Seal did guarantee his death, but like...
Hold on.
I've got a question.
Go ahead, go.
So they talk about how all 3 of these series can destroy the world, but do they actually mean the world, or do they just mean society?
No, again, only question if it's DMC, Kyle. Come on now. Come on.
So
Kyle.
When he actually activates the Reaper Death Seal, Orochimaru doesn't resist his soul being pulled out. Hiruzen just doesn't have enough physical strength to pull it out because Hiruzen is so weak at that point. And when it gets pulled out, it petrifies his arms completely. Tsunade's medical ninjutsu can interact with the soul as she could have repaired Orochimaru's limbs. Tsunade, it's explained specifically that like Tsunade is directly capable of like mending and repairing like organs from like fucking nothing. We don't know how that would interact with her arms. Orochimaru's just convinced it would heal her. Or heal him, but like we don't have any reason to believe Orochimaru knows what he's talking about, because he not only 1 doesn't know the Reaper Death Seal, 2 he's just been hit by it, and he's the only person that's ever survived the Reaper Death Seal. He hasn't actually tested this to determine this. He's just concluding that that's the case because Tsunade is the greatest medical ninja on the planet, and he is assuming that if anyone could kill me, it would be Tsunade. He doesn't actually have any data to back up that claim. The Totsuka blade sucks out the target's soul. That one's valid because it's actually all manipulate souls. They don't do it in the same way though. Tsukuyomi is stated to have an effect on the soul in the novels. Again, if you look at it in the context, it is referring to like people's like mental fucking mind, because when you put Tsukuyomi in them, it's literally like a massive mental strain on them. It's not targeting their literal soul. Obito's Kamui is able to transport his soul back from the Pure Lands temporarily. That is only after he dies, when he is given chakra from like the Sage of Six Paths and like energy from the this is after he became the Ten Tails Jinchuriki and he has the Rinnegan, so that would not be normal. Tatsuya's flute can materialize spirits only through a specific jutsu and nothing else. Orochimaru's Sound 4 can remove and seal souls in anime filler. That's valid, but the One Piece stuff isn't.
All right.
Wait, hang on. There's one more. Ino's mind transfer jutsu stated in the data book to transfer her heart and spirit, and Obito was able to resist that. If we're talking about when she targeted his mind when he was inside of the Ten Tails, that's specifically because she had to contend with the Ten Tails' mind, and that was too much power for her to be able to resist. Obito would not be able to resist that normally.
Okay.
Anyway.
All right. Gaha Negacion?
They're saying they wouldn't be able to. They'd be fine from being resisting being aura mogged by the Espada. No, they wouldn't. They'd be soul crushed into oblivion. Caja de Negacion is a piece of equipment that can seal things in another dimension. All the Espadas have access to it. Most of the Akatsuki don't have direct counter to this, but some do, with the best example being Obito. Given his Kamui, he could easily return from the dimension if trapped there. Though it's worth noting the Espada have been trapped there before and could not simply leave with the score immediately, so he might actually need to break the seal first. He would be. It's actually pointed out specifically that Caja de Negacion is specifically something that is used to punish their subordinates. And the way Grimmjow explains it, it's that it's not meant to be used on someone of the level of strength as an Espada, which implies that they can use it multiple times, because he's pointed out what the function of it is for, and he makes it clear that he could trap his subordinates in there forever. But with someone of Ukiyora's strength, it would take Ukiora about 2 or 3 hours to break out of there. So, Kamui, given that statement, like, Obito is not breaking out of the space. He doesn't have any jutsu or anything that can cut through space-time or seals. So he'd be trapped in there forever. Since Obito is able to resonate his Kamui with dimensions other than his own, such as Kaguya's time-space, he could hypothetically use Kamui to travel from that and other dimensions as well, after being trapped with it, to free other Akatsuki as well. Notably, Itachi's Amaterasu is also able to burn him free from Jiraiya's toad mouth.
I like how they're then pointing out that took an enormous amount of energy for Obito to do that, to try and find Sasuke. And even then, he had to jump through multiple dimensions to find him. He couldn't find him straight away.
I would point out that there's a lot of things wrong with that position, and I'll get to the Itachi one in a first. So first part, Kyle's right. It took a lot of energy, but they're also failing to notice another thing, which is Obito had both of Kamui at that point. He had both of them. He had just come back from being the Ten Tails Jinchuriki. He had been fed chakra from Black Zetsu, and he was also being fed chakra from Sakura, who had the 100 healings technique, pouring constant additional stamina into his body so that he could activate it. And he needed to activate it multiple times, and it was literally bleeding blood out of his eyes every time he did it. It was excruciating. Secondly, this is the big one. He could only do that on Kaguya's dimensions because he specifically points out that Kaguya's dimensions are similar enough to his own. And he could only do it when he activated it on the space where Kaguya went when the portal was open. And other times, he had to force an opening, and that bled him open. So no, that would not work in the case of Caja de Negacion. You have to prove that dimension is the same. As far as Itachi being able to burn free from Jiraiya's toad mouth, which is classified as space-time seal. So, to be clear, the toad mouth still specifically encloses a physical space. Arguing that it's sealed off from space-time doesn't really matter, because you're being encased inside of a toad's actual mouth. If I burn the outside of it, it should open itself up free to the rest of the outside. And the toad's mouth is not capable of resisting Amaterasu. So no, he didn't burn himself out of a space-time dimension. He just burned the inside of the toad's mouth until it had to open itself up. But as far as the Warlords, their best counter would be Haki, given that Law couldn't spatially displace Haki or Big Mom due to the strength of the Haki, though it's worth noting the Warlords are not as strong as the Espada, so whether this resistance would be strong enough to extend to Caja de Negacion is debatable. Nice, complete Hack's ability, dipshit. Check this shit out. Well, it's not exactly a hack. All the Espada can produce massive energy attacks with vast areas effect while exerting their powers to a great enough extent. This consistently allows them to warp or even tear through spaces, which could be argued as light durability bypass. A number of the Akatsuki have good counters to energy attacks. Pain, Obito, Kisame, and Orochimaru all have energy absorption, and certain defensive measures like the Atami or Kama could either guard against or defend against attacks, even those that warp space. No, they couldn't. Substitution or clones, Deidara, Zetsu, or Conan also have decent countermeasures, as is teleportation, Zetsu. That said, a number of the Akatsuki are more vulnerable, like Sasori, Kakuzu, Heidan, lacking counters almost entirely, like several of the Conan and Deidara only countering via avoidance and not being able to handle these attacks head-on. Absorption will also be a major counter. Also troublesome since it's established in Bleach that the Espada can overtax energy absorption if they exert their powers in high enough quantities, while some of the Akatsuki's absorption methods wouldn't have an issue with this, such as the Preta Path. Others, like Samehada, potentially would. This is assuming characters like Conan and like Itachi wouldn't just die, because like they would still get hit by the blast, even if they're trying to like fade out. Like if you argue Conan turns herself into paper, good, then the energy blast just vaporizes the paper then. Her body is now gone. Itachi uses Susanoo. Great. Now his eyes are blind. Like no matter, like unless you use Edo Itachi, Itachi's basically on the verge of going blind. Like if he keeps spamming, like unless you're using like fucking Uchiha Clan Massacre Itachi, you don't have an Itachi that has stamina. As for the Warlords, Kuma can repel energy attacks with his fruit, and Blackbeard can absorb them with his darkness, which not even light can escape from. Law's teleportation, meanwhile, could help to avoid them. Whereas the Warlords don't really have many enemies, just getting blasted, at least none, given the size and power of the attacks. With this in mind, hitting the other guys really, really hard is ironically not a bad tactic for the spot up evolve back on, but they could also do a lot more than that, so let's get into some individual powers and counters the Akatsuki's have to those. Let's not, because that would take too long.
Okay, yeah, let's just scroll down. If there's anything, we can scroll to the conclusion and see if they actually say anything. Oh, I guess teamwork real quickly.
No.
Not friends.
What do they say in teamwork?
We're skipping like all of it. It's fine to check their teamwork statement.
No, there's nothing here that's worth noting.
They've literally talked about teamwork before. They're just going over the same stuff twice.
No,
strongest of the three.
The Akatsuki were better, and then go over why.
Advantages: strongest of the three teams. Flight grants them the highest average mobility. It's not flight; they're standing. They make this a point. They're just standing on reishi particles in the air. Extremely high range in AoE helps with overwhelming other teams. Hacks resistances are overall the most accompanying between three groups can resist. Law of spatial manipulation, Orochimaru and Sasori's poisons and acids, attacks that target internal organs, various types of basic mind hacks, power nullification from Blackbeard, gravity manipulation from Diva Path and Blackbeard, any hacks that must pierce the skin to function, curse marks, Hedon's rituals, etc. Soul manipulation, Reaper Death Seal, Moria Shadow Severing, Human Path, high temperature attacks like Amaterasu, sealing like Totsuka Blade, Chibaku Tensei, etc. Stark's thousands of attacks can overwhelm anyone on the other team. Bargun's Respira can one-shot most of the other teams. Space-tearing attacks like Gran Recero and Lanzador Verde can one-shot anyone they hit. Xylopero's clones counter zombies and clone jutsu. They counter a lot more than that, but okay. Yami's Gonzu counters the reanimation jutsu. Counters a lot more than that. Haribel can drown any devil fruit user. Haribel's a spirit water user than both Jinbei and Kisame. Facts. Aranero can steal dangerous powers from the other teams. That would not necessarily be the case. I mean, even if he did, that wouldn't. I don't know if that would be combo applicable. Capable of overtaxing energy absorbers other than the Preda path, sure. Can escape Obito's Kamui dimension with Discord and like 50 million other things. Disadvantages: vulnerable to Itachi's stronger Genjutsu. No. Largely unable to resist Boa's petrification. Largely unable to resist Datara's C4. It's just an explosion that hits you at the microscopic level. They'll be fine. They've resisted like spiritual absorption of their Konbakus, which happen at the quantum level. So I think they'll be fine to a microscopic little chakra bomb. Largely unable to resist Crocodile's dehydration. Dehydration wouldn't really work on a spiritual body, unless I'm mistaken. Zim, is there any evidence of that working on him dehydrating someone's soul?
No, I don't recall Crocodile ever dehydrating someone's soul. No.
Okay. Predapath and Blackbeard's darkness can absorb energy attacks. I would be completely fine with the idea of Blackbeard's darkness doing it, because from what they're saying, it's just like the darkness fruit, or the dark fruit, is just using gravity to basically like transport it into like another space, kind of like a black hole. But the Predapath wouldn't be capable of doing that.
Okay, so obviously the Espada win, but I guess they have 1v1 matches very quickly at the bottom. So Jinbei versus Kisame, Law versus Obito, Naruto versus Ichigo. What the fuck? These fuckers were in this thing. Oh, okay.
What the crap?
Okay. This is just them talking about other matchups. Okay, I was like, what the fuck?
Get these out of here. This fucking so stupid.
I thought
Well,
it was
skip to the
be like matchups between these guys. Oh. No, okay, yeah, this is just Garl versus Crocodile.
This is literally just people like, I see one thing in common with their characters, therefore matchup. Lol.
This
trash. These are trash matchups if you don't know anything about character writing. Wait, what did they say before we go? Hang on, what's the last section say?
Yeah, well, what's their next time, out of curiosity?
We'd like to give a massive thank you to every contributor who worked on this blog, like researchers, betas, readers, all that. Okay, never mind. Yeah.
Yep. Next
Wait, they have an actual
is Joker versus Green Goblin. I think I remember seeing that actually.
So that's a Green Goblin win.
Is hockey at least 100 times amp? No, it is not. No.
No, you Balrog, you better be ready for Joker scaling to every version of Batman and martial arts.
But mainly, that's just true.
I'm going to show you, and then you just get like footage of like fucking Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe of fucking Joker just boxing with Superman.
Bet I rise you, Spider-Man, friend and foe, and Marvel vs. Capcom.
Do you think Dragon skills higher? Oh no, Joker ain't doing jack to Green Goblin. He shouldn't be able to do anything to Green Goblin. I mean, I don't think it even matters where you scale Green Goblin. Green Goblin's on a fucking glider with explosive bombs. That should take it. Joker's never had to fight anybody that doesn't. His main adversaries are just people who fight in hand-to-hand combat all the time and have a no-kill rule.
Do we use DC
towards a guy
comic for Joker? Absolutely.
Yeah, no, we'll give him the one harpoon that took out fucking Batman in the God suit, and we'll be like, all right, that harpoon outscales all of Marvel. Oh, are we done here?
Yeah, we're good.
Wouldn't you legitimately just make the argument that he would scale above the other Sinister Six?
Yes.
I mean, I would make the position that Green Goblin is just stronger than Joker because he's in the comics. He's supposed to be like enhanced by the fucking what is it? The toxin that turned him into the Goblin. He's literally a super soldier at that point. Whereas like Joker isn't really an enhanced individual. He's just like
He's also performed by William Dafoe. How's he going to lose?
Well, hang on a minute. I got multiple Jokers I can choose from. Like, which if we combine the
you only have
performance,
no. You have two good Jokers. You have the animated ones, and you have fucking
Okay, so I've
Heath
got
Ledger.
Heath Ledger, I've got Jack Nicholson, I've got Mark Hamill, and then I'm also going to include Joaquin Phoenix. And those are the four that I can think of. I could probably include other ones. So yeah, if we combine my performances, I think I can beat William Dafoe.
Ooh, I'm not quite sure. Joaquin Phoenix really took that one off a hill.
You mean when he got raped?
You mean we got killed by the actual Joker?
I'm talking about the first one.
Oh,
But
very convenient. We don't talk about the sequel. Very convenient.
Oh, what is he no longer the Joker now that we had the sequel? The crazy. But
Yeah.
my point is that if we're using G1 logic, I could just collectively equate them together by using the performances. Don't you guys understand how this works? Did we just listen to a whole blog explaining to us how you could just equivocate everything?
Yeah, but don't you? But aren't you also stuck with the fact that you have a Joker that looks like a meth addict too? The one before Joaquin Phoenix.
Bro, I never said he was gonna be stable.
That would have been way fun.
Wait, hang on. Are you criticizing me about mental fatigue when talking about the fucking goblin over here? Like the fool literally went his. No. Hang on a minute. There's literally a scene in Spider-Man 1 where he drops a bomb on the fucking balcony and turns like the stockholders or the members of his company board into fucking skeletons. He doesn't even disintegrate them. He just created a bomb that turns them into skeletons while they're alive. Why the fuck would you even do that? Why would that be necessary?
It would have been way funnier if you actually just said that I never promised him to be clean.
Neither of these people are very sane, Kyle. I think you and I can agree on that.
The Green Goblin, since his mask protects him from the gas. True.
Oh yeah, Green Goblin's also in like a suit of. Well, okay, if you're using like more recent Green Goblins, but like yeah, Green Goblin's in a suit of armor. So, what are you gonna do with him?
All right. Well.
Okay, which Green Goblin are they going to use?
No, even better. Even better, they're gonna cop out and be like, you know what? We're actually gonna use Hobgoblin because we want him to lose.
No, imagine if they turn around and it's just like we're using Harry.
We're using the baby goblin. It's like William Dafoe would just be too much.
We need James Franco.
Bro, why are they acting like James Franco wouldn't also kill the Joker? One glider is enough.
All right, fellas. We'll call it there for today. So, with that said, thank you all for your time as always. Have a nice day. I'll see you guys on the next stream or video. Take care, everybody. Have yourselves a nice night.